Our job is to ensure that people have access to impartial and objective information.
จากต่างประเทศ
ไม่เกินครึ่งหนึ่งออกไปรวมตัวกันไม่ได้
จะหาทางช่วยคนไทยให้กับที่ประหยัด
We are here with you.
Through tough times.
หายอย่างมากนะคะเชื้อโควิด -19 ไปประกอบ
through conflict, through happy times,
to create an informed and educated society for everyone.
It's not just an English language news service, but we also help the world make sense of what goes on in Thailand and the region.
น่าจะวันถึง this week with Thai PBS.
This is the way.
We begin tonight with Thai politics.
In this fast-paced world, we keep you up to date.
With global and regional news that are relevant.
ก็เลยโฆษณาชวนเชื่อที่บริเวณข้อความต่างๆในที่สามารถพิสูจน์ได้ชัดเจนว่า
People need facts, accuracy, and knowledge. We strive to be that trusted source when it comes to news and analysis.
Connecting the world with Thailand.
And bringing Thailand to the world.
ริการอ่านให้ฟังโดยเสียงสังเคราะห์อัตโนมัติปั้นอินฟลูเอนเซอร์ท้องถิ่นรีวิวสินค้าชุมชนเปิดตลาดสินค้าไทยตามหาอินฟลูเอนเซอร์ชุมชนรีวิวสินค้าเกษตรสำนักงานนโยบายและยุทธศาสตร์การค้าหวังเพิ่มรายได้สร้างโอกาสทำเงินให้เกษตรกรไทยปั้นอินฟลูเอนเซอร์ท้องถิ่นรีวิวสินค้าชุมชน
ปั้นอินฟลูเอนเซอร์ท้องถิ่นรีวิวสินค้าชุมชน
Here's the latest from your flash briefing from Thai PBS News.
ว้าวุ่นเลยช้างป่าหนีเล่นน้ำจนเพลินลืมกลับบ้านประวัติศาสตร์อาหารกระป๋องปลาแมคเคอเรลได้รับความนิยมในการนำมาทำปลากระป๋องจนกลายมาเป็นปลาแมคเคอเรลในซอสมะเขือเทศ
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello and welcome to the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union's 2024 Global News Forum. My name is Claire Pachimanon. I'm the editor of Thai PBS World.
And my name is Pongsathar Sukapong, Thai PBS News editor and host of Thalokกับ Thai PBS, a weeknight international news program. And it's our pleasure and honor to be your MCs today. Claire and I hope you enjoy your stay in Bangkok.
Yes, it is a very interesting time for us indeed. And just to let you know, I will be your MC for the afternoon sessions, while Pongsathar will be your MC for the morning sessions. Now, Thai PBS is delighted to host this event as Thailand's public service broadcaster and a longtime member of the ABU and Asiavision.
And we want to thank all of you for joining us here at Sukoson Hotel today as we are going to discuss and debate the future of news so that we can learn about the role of AI and the role of social media platforms in newsrooms around the world, Claire.
Yes, and now it is time for the official opening. So we have an opening remarks from the director of Thai PBS, Dr. Vilasini Pipitgun.
Distinguished guests, คุณอภิสิทธิ์เวชชาชีวะ and esteemed colleagues. Good morning and welcome to the Global News Forum 2024. It is a great pleasure and an honor for Thai PBS, in collaboration with the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, to host the significant event. We are delighted to have distinguished journalists from various countries across Asia and beyond join us here today. The theme of this year's forum, Future of News, is both timely and vital. As we navigate an era of rapid technological advancements and shifting audience dynamics, it is imperative that we, as custodians of the truth, come together to discuss, deliberate, and design strategies that will shape the future of journalism. Our goal is to ensure that our profession not only survives, but thrives in this digital age. At Thai PBS, we are committed to embracing innovation with continuously maintaining the core value of integrity, accuracy, and public service. This forum provides a unique platform for us to exchange ideas, share best practice, and learn from each other's experiences. By doing so, we can better equip ourselves to meet the challenges and seize the opportunities that lie ahead. Later today, you will hear from visionary leaders, pioneering journalists, and industry experts. Their insights will undoubtedly inspire and provoke thought. I encourage you all to actively participate in the discussions, engage with your peers, and contribute your perspective to this collective endeavor. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union for their partnership, and to each of you for your dedication to the noble cause of journalism. Let us work together to shape a future where news remains a beacon of truth and a cornerstone of democracy. Thank you, and I wish you a productive and inspiring forum.
Everyone, Dr. Vilasini Pipitgun, the Director General of Thai PBS.
ขอบคุณค่ะ And we are very lucky here today, Pongsatat, because
Right.
we have a very, very special keynote speaker joining us today. The former Prime Minister of Thailand, Mr. Apisit Vechachiwa, and the title of his address is The Future of News, Truth, Courage, and the Importance of Resisting Political Dogma. Please welcome Dr. Apisit.
Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, allow me first of all to welcome all of you who have come from abroad to Thailand. I hope that your time here will be both fruitful and enjoyable. It is a great pleasure for me to be among distinguished participants of this gathering of important people that I believe go some way to shape the events of the world. To share some thoughts on the topic of the future of news, truth, courage, and the importance of resisting political dogma. I have to say that topic is given to me by the organizers. It's quite a mouthful, and it is certainly very, very significant. Not just for what you are doing as journalists, broadcasters, or the media, but actually for the future of democracy, peace, and prosperity in the world. So let me just start by saying what I feel about where we are today. I feel that we live in an era full of paradoxes. First, so many of us had grown up as a generation that believed that traditional warfare was a thing of the past. But now there are still talks about the risk of maybe another world war. We live in an era where we see unprecedented technological progress. The scope, the pace, unseen in the history of mankind. And yet, we are facing an existential threat of climate change, where we have not been able to come up with either technology or change our ways of doing things to address the issue the way we should be doing in order to save ourselves and the planet. We live in an era where we've just made tremendous progress in terms of eradicating poverty. But we are also witnessing unprecedented inequalities in terms of income, wealth, opportunities in almost every society. And also witnessing a young generation that for the first time feels that maybe their future and their lives will not be as, the future may not be as bright and their lives may not be as prosperous as their parents. And we live in an era where information is most easily accessible to everyone. But we are also facing the risk of misinformation and disinformation taking over the world. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about this. This is not your responsibilities. Maybe it's the responsibilities of politicians. But I have to say that just as so often life imitates art, you'll be surprised at how so many events are also shaped by the news. And so allow me to just take a step backwards and think about what you've all had to do and fight in the past to remain true to your ideals of being custodians of truth, of being a cornerstone of democracy. In the past, you've all had to fight many forms of authoritarianism. And in the past, the state used to have pretty much a monopoly on how to disseminate information to the public. And anyone challenging the narrative of the state faces physical, legal, and other threats. But there was a long fight where we demanded freedom, we demanded access to information, we demanded choice through liberalization of the media. And largely, you and us have all succeeded in doing so, creating a much more competitive and vibrant environment in which the media can operate. But then the game began to change because the authoritarians, the people who want to control information, have more subtle ways of interfering with the work that you do. More subtle forms of manipulation, and then through liberalization, because the media also became businesses, one form of interference is through business influence. And the challenge that you now face in trying to do your job, but also having to watch the bottom line. And then technology, as I said, came along, and suddenly everybody in the world had access to information and had the ability to disseminate information. And while perhaps I was one of the people who was rather optimistic about human nature, that this would enable all of us to be better informed, instead what we discover is perhaps it's part of human nature to trap themselves in echo chambers, so the world became more polarized, and in political and other conflicts, we then use information as weapons. With the growth of misinformation or disinformation, perhaps one of the topics that would probably be most discussed in a forum like this today. I'm recounting this to say that the challenges facing all of you today, some will be in traditional forms, but others is due to this new environment that you all operate in. And in trying to suggest what would be the important factors and ways in which you could face up to these challenges, let me just tell you a story in the news in Thailand recently. Many of you may know that we just had a process of selection for the new Senate, a system that you don't need or don't want to really understand or know. But the idea was that we would have a Senate that would have representatives from all occupations, including those in the media and creative writers as one section. And there was a controversy about who qualifies to be a representative of those from the media. Indeed, one candidate that had perhaps the most votes turned out to have experience in the media as somebody who used the public announcement system in her local community and would MC at weddings and other functions. So there was a bit of an uproar from people who saw themselves as professional journalists. I tell this story to tell you that to face all the challenges that I have mentioned before, it comes down to this. What is it that makes you a professional journalist? Rather than someone who could just post or upload anything onto the internet, rather than someone who simply shares stories that they receive. Because if you can answer this question and distinguish yourself, that this is what makes you a professional journalist, I think you're almost all the way there to face up to the challenges of today. So first, truth. Something that maybe 10, 20 years ago we never felt would become so complicated a concept. But now, your job, the key part of your job is that you can simply not just report. Because anybody can be reporters now. But one of the most important jobs that makes you a professional journalist is that you are there to fact check for consumers, for the people. Because everybody is bombarded with information, but it is simply your job to be that filter, to make sure that what gets out to the consumers, to the public, is actually truth. And to do that, you have to have knowledge, and you have to have certain skills, particularly now being digitally literate. And it means that you have to always be open to diverse sources to make sure that you can actually fact check all that information that is coming out. And if you could go one step further, which is to actually seek out truth that is often buried either by the authorities or by those that are rich and powerful. So proactive, investigative journalism is in need more than ever before. That's the first part, truth. But it's simply not enough to know the truth or to want to get the truth out. The second part involves courage. Because in order to pursue and disseminate truth, you will come up against various obstacles. And it is vitally important that your job is to hold those in power to account. That takes courage, and I'm sure you know so many stories or examples or instances where your colleagues have in the past have to risk their lives and risk everything in pursuit of the truth, in trying to get the truth out. And collectively, as a body, you should also go some way towards making sure that there are good framework or environments to protect your colleagues in trying to do this job. That means rules in the workplace, that means the law of the land. You should be active in making sure that this environment can take shape. And apart from truth and courage, the obstacle that you face today, as the title suggests, is about dogma. Actually, I would go beyond political dogma. There is economic dogma, there is dogma in terms of narratives that are being created or perpetuated by many groups of people for their own interests and gains. And the importance of resisting this kind of dogma is what makes you a professional journalist, balanced and impartial. That doesn't mean you cannot express your opinions, but you just have to be transparent about them being opinions and what those opinions are based on. And to argue your case through the merits of the case, rather than repeating whatever dogma or which side you are seen to be on. And perhaps when I talk about resisting dogma, perhaps this may sound odd, but the biggest courage will now have to be actually facing up to those people who are supposedly on your side. I say this because in Thailand, as in many places, because of the polarization due to the echo chamber effects that I've talked about, I find that in many countries, many media outlets now decided that business-wise or for other reasons, it's better to become partisan. Being neutral doesn't guarantee your market. Being impartial doesn't guarantee you a market, and makes you actually the enemies of the extremes. And they're after you first. Which is why I find perhaps the biggest courage it takes now is when you actually call out your own side. The biggest courage to break with the expectations of your audience and supporters when you need to do it to get the truth out. That is something that will be a big challenge for many of you. And I know it's a difficult thing to do. I was certainly one that paid the price as a politician in trying to create this middle ground and actually calling out the things that I think are wrong about what is perceived to be on my own side. But all this, the importance of truth, to find it, to disseminate it, the courage to face up to those that are powerful, and the determination to resist dogma is not only needed, but it is urgent. As I said before, so many of us now fear the risk of widespread violence, conflict, and war. So many of us see the loss of opportunities that could be, despite the fact that human has made so much progress technologically. So it is time to renew and reinvigorate the professionalism of your profession. Truth, courage, and the importance of resisting dogma is the way forward and the future of news. Thank you.
Mr. Apisit Vechachiwa, a former Prime Minister of Thailand. And it's now my pleasure to introduce you the Secretary General of the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, Mr. Ahmed Nadeem.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Sawasdee krap. Apologies for my late arrival. As usual, Air Asia flights are always delayed. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it yesterday due to some urgent matters. Lovely to see you all here, and welcome to this year's Global News Forum. And to follow up of a wonderful speech by Abhisit, it's very difficult because he has put some very important points about the future of news and the role of journalism. This year especially is a remarkable and important year for us. We are celebrating the 60th anniversary of Asia Pacific Broadcasting Union, also the 40th anniversary of Asiavision, our international news exchange. So it's an occasion to celebrate the foresight and wisdom of the founding members, their vision, their commitment, and to applaud those who have contributed to bring us here on both these platforms. It is also a time to look forward and move forward. Just as we have adapted to the changes in technology, platforms, audience demand, and audience expectation for the past 60 years, we need to keep the momentum and keep moving forward. More change is coming, and it would appear that the pace of change is faster than ever. The media landscape is changing at a dizzying pace. The way that we consume information, the platforms we use, and the very definition of news itself is under a flux. This rapid revolution, or an evolution, presents both challenges and opportunities for journalists, the broadcasters, and also the audiences themselves. We are living in a time where our work as trusted news sources and credible news authorities are being challenged to its core. We are living in a time where gossip is making headlines, where opinions are running the news. Unfortunately, social media seems to be running the show and the agenda, and without realizing, we are being dragged into it. We need to ask ourselves, how can we ensure the reliable news sources that we have been to provide high-quality journalism, and it thrives in the digital age? How can we serve our audiences and provide them the news they need while making the trust and maintaining the trust we have built across over the years? And most importantly, how can we continue to play a vital role in informing and empowering our communities while maintaining our credibility and integrity? In this context, I commend and introduce the Future of News report, which you have probably seen on your tables. This is the work of our members and our Asiavision team to bring to you some great insights and ideas from our members. It celebrates the work and wisdom of some of the Asia-Pacific region's best thought leaders, as well as the views of international partners and leading academics. The report also includes the results of our Future of News survey, which gives a lot of insight on how our perception of Future of News looks like. Let me take this opportunity to thank our host, Thai PBS, for their wonderful support and the arrangements for this meeting. I would also like to thank our team, Deborah and her team, for putting together a wonderful program for this day and challenging the topics that are relevant to future of news. Once again, thank you, and my apologies for being late. Enjoy the topics. Please be interactive. We have wonderful speakers, wonderful sessions. I think future of news, and you can see from the image there's a lot of artificial intelligence going to be discussed, and how it's affecting our societies and our views, and broadcasters themselves are going to be discussed. So be part of the discussions, learn from each other. The reason why we arrange these kind of meetings and forums is to bring like-minded colleagues together so that they can exchange ideas and learn from each other. Thank you again, and have a wonderful time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed Nadeem, the Secretary General of ABU. And he was reminding us that the Asiavision is 40 years old.
Yes. And I would like to invite Dr. Vilasini and Mr. Apisit to join us here on the stage for a group photo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme this year is the future of news. The rapidly changing media landscape presents both challenges and opportunities.
Claire, and the ABU realizes this issue, so we will launch the report on the future of news in Asia and the Pacific too. And I'm eager to explore the definition of this word, Claire.
Definitely, and we do have 7 panels here today for you to join, and we do have a live streaming as well, so hello to all the viewers at home joining on Thai PBS World Facebook and YouTube channel.
And you are also a moderator, right?
Yes, I will be moderating the last panel of today, and the theme is Future of News, What's Next?
So people watching online, please stay tuned because our journalist, Dave Kitipat, will take you to see activities outside the meeting room.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Has any of you, we've got games and we've got the goodies. We've got all the souvenirs from Thai PBS outside. So during the breaks, please do not forget to visit our booth.
Oh, she got
You've
got
already
that.
got one. I'm sure they'll come in use. Oh, you've got one as well. So yeah, please don't miss this opportunity. Lots of goodies.
Absolutely.
And we are about ready to start our first panel. So I'll leave the stage to Pongsatat to look after you this morning, and I'll come back and join you during the afternoon sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. All right, everyone, I'm sure that you have copies of the ABU's report on the future of news in your hands. So now we are discussing all these issues in detail. To moderate the first panel discussion, please welcome the director of ABU News and the editor of the Future of News report, Deborah Steele.
Good morning, everyone. With our first panel, it is my pleasure to introduce to the stage again Tep Chai Yong, host of this year's Global News Forum, and Thai PBS Executive Advisor, and also an essayist for the Future of News report. Francis Torrell, another essayist in the report, and the head of ABS-CBN News in the Philippines. Francis. Suhaimi Sulaiman, Director General of RTM Malaysia. Lin Chung, Head of Digital Growth at CNA, Singapore. And last but not least, Omar Farouk Tan Rafferty, Deputy Director General, Head of International Broadcasts at TRT Turkey. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's begin by you each giving your assessment of what you think is the most important issue as we look at the future of news. Tepchai, would you like to begin?
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. I think could I visit the former Prime Minister, our key speaker, summarized them in the whole issue of challenges facing the media quite well. It's so difficult to speak after him. I think one of the biggest challenges that we face at the Thai PBS newsroom, as I mentioned yesterday, are probably common challenges facing newsroom across the globe these days. I mean, we have seen how the digital disruption has changed the media landscape. We are seeing how the changing news consumption behaviors are affecting the way that we present or produce news and present news. But the biggest challenge that I think that we face these days, and especially in my case, is how to instill confidence in people in newsroom that there is future in what we are doing. And as Kun Abhishek just mentioned, that we're facing a variety of challenges that certainly, I mean, confront the very basic, I mean, ways that we do things. And of course, it's quite an irony anyway that they try to instill confidence in the news people that there's future in what we're doing in the face of dying of many media outlets. You know? Then a few weeks ago, while I was thinking of trying to come up with some thoughts for today's forum, and trying to think about a situation that would encapsulate all the challenges that the media are facing, then something hit home. There was an announcement by the leading news broadcaster in Thailand that it was scaling back its news operation that would lead to a layoff of about 100 people in the newsroom. And a week later, another a leading online news broadcaster announced a complete shutdown of its news service. And that would lead to layoff of, dozen more people. And then the biggest worry is that at present in Thailand we have about 20 plus broadcasters, and their licenses will expire at the same time in 5 years' time. And all indications are that less than half of them will want to have their licenses renewed. So that means that half of the broadcaster will die off. So what does it mean? Because not to talk about the newspapers, right? I mean, most of them have died out anyway in the past few years. So what is most worrying is the fact that there is a potential disappearance of diversity of news sources in the next few years' time. So what does it mean? It means that the role of the media in reporting truth, in being a guardian of truth, and all these responsibilities will be greatly affected by the diminishing number of the established media outlets. And especially the role of the media as a watchdog in holding those in power accountable will also be affected. So this is a fact on the ground that certainly challenge the idea of trying to instill confidence in the people that there's future in what we are doing. And what should be done? Okay, I'll save that for the next round, maybe. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Francis.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. So I prepared a brief presentation of what is the challenge that faces media. So I summarize it into 4. That is reach, revenue, relevance, and to a certain extent, respectability. Because less people are watching us, therefore our reach has become less. TV advertising revenue is going down, and yet we're getting centavos from digital platforms. Our relevance, there's news avoidance, there's news fatigue, there's news aversion. It cannot be denied. And audiences are now preferring content creators and influencers versus mainstream media, and that affects our respectability. So if you look at this is data from our research. In 2010, 14 years ago, TV news was a major source of information, with community conversations following next, newspapers and tabloids next. Just 17 years later, you see TV news as a source shrinking and digital news expanding. But if you see now, 2024, after the pandemic, and in our case, after the shutdown of our station, TV news as a source has become even less, with digital communities, meaning social media, as the leading source of information, and digital news third. Sadly, newspapers and tabloids in the Philippines support a fraction of our information needs. And actually, they're also diminishing. So what can we do, and what do? We protect and optimize our legacy. We continue to improve what we have and what we own and operate. That is our newscasts, that is our website. This is not reliant on any social media platform, yet it is our own. Whatever the platforms happen or do, we have our own legacy platforms. Yet, we also have to improve and expand our reach on digital, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all the other social media platforms. We need to be there. And we have to tell stories in a different way that will capture and captivate audiences. Social media is not the enemy. It is a portal by which they will consume our news. And so it is still the story that matters in whatever platform we have. As if our woes are not enough, we also have to contend with false information and fake news. And I think unions and organizations like this is very important. We have to band together to counter false information. And I'd like to end my presentation with this quote from the Reuters study from Leah Korsgaard, editor-in-chief of the Zetland in Denmark. I worry that journalism as a business has been too slow to reorient and rethink its role and purpose. People don't miss journalism, but journalism miss people. And that is the challenge to all of us, to bring them back to credible sources of information. Thank you.
Sahami, what are your thoughts on the biggest issue?
Okay. In Malaysia, for RTM, actually we started with a hypothesis. We felt that people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter, and they don't read anymore. That's the hypothesis. And they don't like long nightly news. So we experimented, yeah? Because at first we thought they have moved from the big screen to the mobile phones, yeah? So what we did was we shortened our 1 hour news, very boring 1 hour news, and we condensed everything into a 15-minute news. But we have more stories in that news, and the ratings, the viewership, for some of the news programs increased by 100%, some 200%, and some by 300%. That's a lot for us. So that's on the terrestrial side. And we're also growing audiences on our OTT, on digital. So what basically is, at first we started with a hypothesis, and then we commissioned we commissioned a study to one of the local universities, and they came up with the same results too. People can't manage information anymore. You know, they can only read like perhaps 3 sentences. Yeah, and then perhaps if they have time over the weekend, then they will do something to go in depth and find out more. So that's one of the things that we're facing at the moment. The second one is the money has moved from terrestrial to digital. So it's quite difficult to sustain. So what we do now is we try to unlearn certain things. Yeah, for example, we work together with the ministries. For example, we work together with our finance ministry to, because people hate business news, economic news, because it's so dry. Yeah. So what we did in Malaysia was we used cartoons, we used animation to tell the story of how the revenue for the country has increased by such and such a percentage, and that worked. And people loved it. Yeah. So I guess people are so engrossed in making ends meet, and they work so hard, so they need to be entertained. So we realized that we need to unlearn some of the things that were taught in journalism schools, and we retrain our reporters to think fun, yeah, to present everything fun, not necessarily, you know, when I first started in journalism 32 years ago, when you don't have statistics, when you don't have bar charts, when you don't have bar graphs, the editors will throw your reports away. So, but today, if you don't have cartoons, if you don't have animation, that will not guarantee anything that people will consume your content. So it's basically changing. So the problem that we have now is how to unlearn what you have learned in journalism school. That's one of the things that we're also facing at the moment. Yeah, for now.
Thank you. Lynn, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm from CNA, headquartered in Singapore. It's part of the MediaCorp news brand stables. We report in different languages, but we all see the same thing. The biggest issue that we see facing the news industry today is not just news fatigue, it's very specific to bad news fatigue. So you would have seen the Reuters Institute's digital news report saying people are reading the news less, they're consuming less overall. But the key thing is because we are actually tarred with the same brush because of the bad news, specifically bad news fatigue, platforms are withdrawing from news. You see headlines like Facebook is no longer friends with news and so on. You can also see headlines like TikTok suppresses certain topics on news. YouTube, on the other hand, is trying to encourage news consumption. So you have all these platforms that are trying to package the news in a safe manner for their users that might not come to the platforms for specifically for news use, and therefore our reach is being curtailed. It limits our revenue opportunities overall as well. So this is an opportunity for us to reinvent ourselves, and yes, it's a massive issue, but I find that the big issue we have to ask ourselves is, we always think if it bleeds, it leads. You know, sad and bad news always leads the program, always dominates our headlines on our website. What can we do next?
Thank you. Omar.
Thank you, Deborah. Sawati Ton Chao. Good morning. And thank you, ABU and Thai PBS for hosting us in this beautiful city of Bangkok. And there's a Thai saying, Nam kun hai reep tag. I'm not sure I'm said correctly, but it's said that when the water rises, quickly fill your bucket. This proverb emphasizes the importance of seizing opportunities quickly. We need to be open to innovation in the digital age. And we should not see AI age or these technological developments as a risk, but we should see as an advantage. We need to prepare well, improve our quality, and be ready for our competitors. I'm very positive about the future of news. We need to be optimistic, but it's really about bringing stakeholders together. We were talking about same concerts last month in Italy, Napoli, with our colleagues from EBU and Abu Rai days. Actually, we were together with Ahmet Nedim, Secretary General. And we must stand united and build the future together, because as ABU, we are reaching more than half of the world. And that people sees us as a reference networks. We were talking about the fact-check mechanisms, disinformation, misinformation, but we are the reference channels, and we need to continue like that. A year ago in Kuching, Malaysia, I said that our audiences' news behaviors are changing. And it changed, and it continues to change. So in previous year, at that speech, I said that after 5 years, we may get news from contact lenses maybe. And the Apple announces their glasses. And what happened? I said again that after 10 years, maybe we don't need to get any news because of a chip that implemented to our brain. And Elon Musk implemented the first chip. So it goes very quickly. And we need to be ready for that and all together. Because all the conferences I attended as a speaker, we are discussing. We need to stop discussing, I guess, and we need to move, but all together. Because this is off the record, okay? So, there, the big tech companies, this is another issue. So we need to collaborate with them, but, okay, maybe another round table, I will tell more about this issue, okay? But we need to think about that. Yes, pervasiveness of technology, rise of misinformation, generative AI and synthetic content, these are the risks, but we need to be really clearly understand what is against us, who is against us, and who we are dealing with at the end. So that's all for now. So also I would like to tell what we have done already as TRT, but in other section or now, can I continue, Deborah?
Well, maybe we just canvass some of the other issues, and in particular that one on big tech, because it's a huge issue when so many news organisations have invested so much in getting onto social media platforms, in using that as a way to drive traffic back to their sites, and yet the future of being able to do that is seriously in doubt by decisions by Meta through Facebook and some of the other issues, potential bans in some markets of some platforms, restrictions on the age at which people can access social media. So would any of you care to comment on that issue in terms of, Francis, you mentioned the importance of having your own site and driving traffic straight there. Would you like to expand on that?
Yes, I can. Yeah. Our news website is not making money. That's one thing I can say. Because the money is not going to news sites. They're going to the social media platforms and to digital personalities. But we do endeavor to keep it up because it's not dependent on any social media platform. However, it is correct. People are reading less. But they will read something that has impact on their lives. They will read something that there's interest in. So what we're doing in ABS-CBN is we're creating a new unit that is called Digital as Primary Screen Team. We're no longer going to think broadcast when we tell a story. When we tell a story, the first thing in mind is, how will I do this in social media? How will I do this in the website? How will I do this in YouTube? Not anymore, how will I do this for the newscast? Or how will I do this for TV? Digital as primary screen. And so far, we've gained headway because it's a new way of doing things. And I told the team, if we do the same things in the same way, we cannot expect different results. So we have to do it differently.
Tepchai, in your essay, you say that Thai PBS doesn't focus on what's trending, it focuses on what's important. How do you strike that balance between your obligations as a public service media broadcaster, serving a national interest, a societal purpose, and being relevant to audiences?
First of all, your off-the-record remarks have just gone live. All right, we are live streaming this session and the other session as well. But to answer your question, I think it's very important that we have to understand that all those happenings out there, the news stories that are trendy, I think certainly, have been the domain of social media these days now. I think the more established media outlets should not try to compete with the social media platforms in reporting things that are trendy. I think. As far as Thai PBS, which is a public broadcaster, is concerned, I think our role is not just to report things, especially not to compete with any outlets in reporting things that are trendy or breaking news, things like that. But I think the idea of having public broadcaster and the idea of having any established media outlet is for these outlets to really report things that are important to the people as well. And beyond that, I think it's very important that the media, Thai PBS especially, also play a role of being a check on people in power. And being a broadcaster that really hold, whoever is in power or any interest group accountable. So that means that we also, not only Thai PBS, I think all the established media outlets, the expectation is that they should also, on behalf of the society, be a check on the interest groups all across the society. So that means that they have the duties to pick up on important issues, but make them easy to understand so that people will be interested in all these issues that are important to them and be an active citizen in following up all these issues. And also, I think equally important is the role that the media, especially for the public broadcaster like Thai PBS, is to be a forum, a meeting places for people to talk about their views, their diverse opinions, so that there would be a diversity of views and opinions on important issues. And I think that's very important. For the mainstream media, to distinguish themselves from the rest of the media landscape is to be recognized as the sources of information that can be trusted and can be seen as the representatives of the society in keeping people in power in check. Yeah.
Thank you. Sahami, you've been undertaking a huge change project at RTM. How are you positioning RTM for the future? How do you see it developing?
I didn't go to journalism school. I studied marketing and I did my MBA and I came back and then suddenly I became a journalist. Moving forward, I think, journalists are trained, what, where, when, why, how, tell a story, complete, you have the sense of completeness and all that, yeah? But there's one thing missing. This is what we are doing right now at RTM. Most of our reporters right now, they are forced to think like marketeers, meaning that's why I love the points brought by Francis. If that thing is very, very important to them, they will read. Yeah? So it is how you tell that story that's important to them. In fact, I think in this afternoon, there's a session where the people, the audience will determine what you would want to select as your main news. And I think that's superb, because that's the approach that we are actually using at RTM, which is the national broadcaster. So our reporters now are trained to think like marketeers. And if not, nobody would want your story, even though it's like an earth-shattering story from the point of view of an editor. Yeah, if it's not, because you go back to the definition of marketing, which is basically fulfilling the needs and wants of your customers. So you have to get the stories from their point of view, and if that story is not important, don't bother. You know, they will actually go to some of the celebrities and get content from there. So that's basically what we are doing at RTM, and it has worked for us. So you have to find the balance between nation building, doing your job as a true journalist and editor, and at the same time, you must make sure that you have the numbers. If not, you're not attractive to the advertisers. So you have to do the balancing. Sometimes on a continuum, you fail here, but you succeed here. So you do that on a daily basis. You do the juggling work, yeah.
One of the issues that came up in the Future of News survey appears to be a lack of understanding in newsrooms by journalists and producers at that level about what is happening in the industry. Has that been a challenge for you at RTM to get the message across to all people, not just management level?
That is why we, well, in RTM, we have what you call the Raise the Bar breakfast. Raise the Bar breakfast is, you know, sometimes we are very biased. We only call certain editors to your daily editorial meetings, you know, but you never call your driver or your cameraman, because they are the ones actually out there consuming the news. Sometimes the ideas from the people who drive your car or from your security guard, they are the ones who actually will determine whether your news will be consumed by the people outside. So we open up, so I have breakfast every single day with my staff, and that's why I'm fat. Because that is the session where you actually get all those information and the feedback, yeah. So that is how you bring back all those experiences, you bring that to the editorial meeting, then only you'll be successful. And we have seen that implemented, and we like the results that we are seeing, actually.
Thank you. Lynn, at CNA, what's your focus in preparing for these changes and use of tools through generative AI?
So for us at CNA, we are not just a digital-first organization, we are an audience-first organization. So we decided a long time ago that TV needed to be reinvented. We cannot depend on the ratings to figure out our audience. So we decided, let's make sure that anybody who wants to watch our video content, be it current affairs programming or news packages, or live crosses that are recut and so on, can watch it anytime. So we've customized a tool with a third-party vendor, and it's called AI Smart Cut, and we can roll the video just to give you a sense of what it is. That are clipped out by AI Smart Cut are fed onto YouTube and our website just minutes from it airing. And we just have our TV journalists write the title and description because they know their work best. It also feeds our CNA TV app. The key thing for us is that we decided, okay, if I don't know that much about my viewer, what can we do? So we decided to make our TV content modular. People don't want to watch an entire bulletin. Sometimes they just want to look for specific things. So these are the bits and bobs that we put out quickly. So in future, if you wanted to search for latest coverage on a certain topic, for example, maybe it will be served as a customized bulletin. We just wanted to lay the foundation for that. So we trained AI for about 1.5 years. It works on, it recognizes voices, presenter and journalist voices, and then it also does natural language processing to decide that this introduction goes with this package, or this question goes with this answer. It clips it out to 85% accuracy, and in the event that the in and out points are slightly off, we make it very easy for you to just fix that. So 1.5 years, we only launched it, I would say, towards the end of last year, but it's been pretty successful. We get our videos up from TV much quicker up online, and we are about to launch, we've just launched it for Tamil news bulletins. 85% accuracy. The simpler your bulletin is, the more recognizable patterns it is able to train the AI much faster. And we're about to launch it for Malay as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Omar, what opportunities do you see at TRT?
Thank you, Deborah. And so I just would like to give an example about what we faced with these big tech companies, actually. And on the last year, 7th of October, everyone knows what happened in the Gaza issue, the massacre. And we are really on that issue to spread the news around the world, what is happening in Gaza. And we were producing contents, and when we woke up, suddenly, one of social media platforms just deleted our contents without any warnings, just put some limitations. And when we discussed deeply about what happened, they cannot give us any reason for that. So that's just their rules. So actually a political issue for us. And we witnessed this thing too many times. So we decided then, instead of like using their rules and ways, we need to create a super app that customers, our own audiences, can follow us from our own app with same technology and like using AI and other new issues. So hopefully on October, with the General Assembly, that we will host all of you, and we will launch our own new brand, and it will call TRT Global. It will be our umbrella brand of international operations. In 2 years, we took from 4 channels, 4 languages, to 13. And now, with the TRT Global, we will start broadcasting in 45 different languages, which will bring us at the first row for the language number. And with that super app, our audience will have a news assistant in 45 different languages. So you can ask for, please give me, TRT Global, please give me like 3 minutes news brief. What is happening in Gaza? What is happening in United States? How is Biden right now with COVID-19? So, and you know, he's ill now. And so it's your private, customized news assistant driven by our TRT's own AI. So what we did actually, we have created our own LLM engine, AI engine. We put 5 years back archive with the machine learning that our AI now can produce news as well. But of course, we are not trusting it yet. But maybe after 3 or 4 years, we let our AI to produce news by itself as well. So what else we have? We have changed our all workflow, organizational charts, just to create more efficiency in our organization. So with the help of these new technologies, hopefully millions of our audience will follow us through our own app. So also, it's a leak for you. Our app will be like not the usual websites or apps that you are using right now. It's like scrolling, okay, the first time. And so we choose to create our own way, and hopefully we will be achieved to do it. And on October, you will hopefully use our application. And so we will serve our audience in 45 different languages. This is another opportunity to get news all around the world. That leads us to cover nearly more than 85% of whole world spatial content from the regions.
So with 5 minutes to go, I'd like to ask all of you, as news leaders, as CEOs, what your advice is to people in the room on how they prepare for the future. When timelines become ever shorter, so many factors to consider, what is your advice on their best approach? Tepchai.
Okay, I think what we are seeing as far as the technological advancements are concerned, I think we are only seeing the tip of the iceberg of things to come. I think we would be fooling ourselves to claim to know what lies ahead 3 or 5 years from now. But we know that things are changing very fast. And what I see also as an opportunity as well is that there will be a trend toward more customization and localization and personalization of news, ahead of us. So that should, provide a good opportunity for established media, to take that opportunity, to really present things that really meet that kind of need in the future. But in doing so, we should also be aware of the need to avoid creating echo chambers and confirmation biases. But I believe that the more established media outlets will be in better position to really, offer that kind of services. More localized, more personalized, more customized, but with the contents that will enlarge the people, the knowledge or understanding of the things that are going on around them. I think that should be one of the ways forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Francis.
Yeah. 3 things. One is think like a marketeer. That's really a very good advice. Think like an audience. If you're bored with your own story, most likely your audience will be bored too. So think like an audience. That's number 1. Number 2, deliver unique content. As news organizations, one of the pitfalls is we have the same content, the same political content, the same business content, but endeavor to deliver unique content that will make the audience come to you because only you have it. And third, start to think global audience. Do not think just of your country. Think of reaching more audiences globally, because where the audience is, realistically, the money will follow to sustain our operations.
Sahami.
I will just repeat what Francis just said, because for us, it is basically about moving forward, get the AI, get the robots to do all the menial work for you, the transcribing, the scripting. You have to think, you do higher level thinking. This is the marketing part, the storytelling part, and most importantly, I think you said it right, differentiator. What is your differentiator and what is your unique selling proposition? And for us, we are moving to the export market because that's where the money is. And just one example, a very short example. The population of Malaysia is 34 million. Last year, on our digital platform, we recorded one single event, 10.3 million, unheard of in Malaysia. So I decided to check with the technical tech team who actually watched. Don't tell me a third of Malaysian population is actually watching this. Actually, it was a football match between Indonesia and Thailand. I think it's the finals of the SEA Games. But one thing that we learned from there is if you have your content well marketed, you can get audiences from around the world. That's our OTT basically, yeah, and also some other platforms. So they will come in, they know where to find good content. So thank you to the people of Indonesia and also Thailand for watching the soccer match. We recorded 10.3 million. So that's where we have to think internationally. Yeah.
Thank you. Lynn? I think you have to diversify. Nobody is one note. The viewer that you are in the morning is not the same viewer at night. It's the same for reading as well. We have to prepare for asymmetric consumption of news. News should not be ephemeral. It should be searchable. So make sure that your content is modular, meta-tagged properly. It can be served on any surface that somebody wants. And one thing is, the answer is not clickbait, right? Just because people don't like that much serious news. You have to find solutions journalism to put in front of people. The one thing that I would say to all broadcasters and publishers is that, yes, you are very used to being that authoritative, credible source, but actually people just want to soothe their anxieties in a very fractured and difficult world. So how can you reinvent yourself as a smart, informed, trusted friend? And on every surface, could it be a chat app? Could it be YouTube? Could it be on your own app? The key thing is coming across as authentic and sincere. And that's where I see a tremendous opportunity for broadcasters like us. Essentially, video is having its moment because video transports you to a time and place and at moment. And that authenticity, you cannot recreate oftentimes with other types of media. Yes, you can have avatars. Yes, you can have all sorts of other nice, fancy things, but people just want information that they can see and trust for themselves.
Good advice. Thank you. Omar?
I would like to say, let us seize leadership in shaping the future of news through innovation. Commit to truth and transparency, ensuring journalism remains a beacon of reliability. AI isn't just changing journalism. It's super changing our mission as well. From tailored content to global fact-checking, we are building a future where every story matters. Now, every voice is heard and truth prevails. And we should create the future altogether, not just as ABU, EBU, African Union, the other unions as well, as all public broadcasters all over the world. Thank you very much, Deborah.
A wonderful note to end on. Please thank our wonderful panel.
Thank you, Deborah, and all panelists. So let's take a group photo. Thank you very much, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a break now, and the next session starts at 10:55. 10:55. Coming up next, head of the Digital News Division at NHK Japan will discuss Impression Zombies. And for people watching online, Steve Kitipat will take you to see interesting activities in the forum. Please follow him.
Very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Global News Forums on the topic of the future of news with Thai PBS World and ABU. So, after you watching the first panel on the topic of CEO News Leader Forum, the future of news by the 5 news leaders from 5 organizations, from Thai PBS, from CNA, from ABS-CBN News, from RTM, and from TRT from Turkey. Right now, we are waiting for another 6th panel. Thank you everyone for staying with us until now. And please, I hope everyone to stay with us until the end of the day, until the 7th panels of the day. So you're now with me, Kitipat Sukhjit, the content creator and news reporter of Thai PBS World. So right now, while we are waiting for the 2nd panel to start, I would like to advise you another 7 panel we are waiting for. We have the 2nd panel, we have Generative AI, the new paradigm. On the panel 3, we have the social media tango, the changing relationship between news organizations and social media companies. The panel 4, we are going to have Thai PBS Forum, Truth, Trust, and Democracy. The panel 5, we are going to have climate change in the newsroom, more disasters, more emergency coverage. Panel 6, we are going to have the battle of relevance, listening to and learning from audiences. And panel 7, the last panel of the day, will be the future of news, what's next? So before we are going to the 2nd panel, I'm going to bring you here to show what we are provide you and what we are going to show you from Thai PBS. So today at the Global News Forums, we have 4 sectors of Thai PBS. Here we have CC, or Corporate Communication Department. We have Content Creative Bureau. We have Digital Media Department. And we have Thai PBS World. So we're going to start with the Corporate Communication Department. Sawasdee krab. So this is the Corporate Communication Department, or CC. So she's going to talk in Thai. I will translate for you. So I'm going to ask her what is CC and what do they work. อันนี้ CC ครับทำงานอะไรบ้างแล้วก็มี product อะไรบ้างครับ
ค่ะก็ CC นะคะก็มาจากสื่อสารองค์การนะคะก็จะเป็นหน่วยงานที่ทำหน้าที่เผยแพร่แล้วก็เนื้อหาต่างๆแล้วก็สื่อสารภาพลักษณ์ขององค์กรไทย PBS ของเรานะคะแล้วก็วันนี้นะคะที่บูธของเราก็จะมีตอนนี้เรามีสิ่งที่จะมานำเสนอนะคะก็จะมีทั้งหมด7 สับแบรนด์นะคะเดี๋ยวจะให้น้องๆนะคะอธิบายว่า Product แล้วก็สับแบรนด์ของไทย PBS เนี่ยวันนี้ที่ตอนนี้เรามีอยู่เนี่ยมีอะไรกันบ้างนะคะนี่คือเดี๋ยวให้น้องๆ
So the duty of the Corporate Communication Department is to look after the image and identity of the organization, and they have 7 sub-brands here today to show you. So what are the 7 sub-brands today? มีอะไรบ้างครับ
สับแบรนด์ของเราต้องบอกก่อนนะคะว่าไทย PBS ค่ะเราเป็นสื่อสาธารณะเนาะแล้วตอนนี้ค่ะเรามีวาระหลักที่เราตั้งใจที่จะเหมือนขับเคลื่อนในปีนี้นะคะในเรื่องของ mental health deliberative democracy แล้วก็ soft power เรามีผลิตภัณฑ์และบริการมากมายนะคะในเรื่องของที่จะให้ครอบคลุมกับประชาชนเป็นหลักนะคะเพื่อของประโยชน์ของประชาชนเรามีทั้งpodcast นะคะเรามีวิภานะคะแล้วก็เรามีไทย PBS Kids นะคะแล้วก็จะมีอีกมากมายหลายอย่างแต่อย่างวันนี้ค่ะที่เรานำเสนอผลิตภัณฑ์บริการที่เอามาโชว์ในวันนี้ค่ะก็จะมีในเรื่องของคอนเทนต์จากสำนักสร้างสรรค์นะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นในเรื่องของละครสารคดีต่างๆแล้วก็จะมีในเรื่องของวิภากับ The Visual นะคะก็จะเป็นแอปพลิเคชันเป็นแพลตฟอร์มที่เดี๋ยวเขาจะมีหน้าตามาให้ดูกันนะคะว่าจะเป็นยังไงบ้างแล้วก็จะมี Thai PBS World ด้วยเหมือนกันค่ะ
Alright, so she said that there are 3 main focus of Thai PBS this year. They have mental health, deliberative democracy, and soft power with the 7 sub-brands here. As you can see, The Active, Thai PBS World, Thai PBS Kids, Art and Art and Entertainment, yes, Thai PBS Podcast, and Vipa with its OTT services. So here today, we have like 4 products to provide for you, to show you. Like we are going to start first with the Content Creative Bureau. So I'm now with the director of the Content Creative Bureau. สวัสดีครับครับสำหรับรายการครับมีอะไรเป็นประเด็นบ้างครับช่วงนี้ครับ
ต้องบอกว่าสำนักรายการเราเนี่ยเราผลิตเนื้อหาหลักๆอยู่2ประเภทนะครับก็คือสารคดีและละครหรือดราม่าซีรีส์นั่นเองนะครับสารคดีเราเนี่ยเราผลิตสารคดีที่เน้นนะครับเรื่องธรรมชาติและสิ่งแวดล้อมนะครับเราพูดเรื่องธรรมชาติในแบบมุมมองที่เป็นมุมมองแบบคนตะวันออกพูดแบบผ่านปรัชญาตะวันออกนะครับซึ่งเป็นรูปแบบใหม่ๆที่เราไม่เคยมีที่ไหนเคยทำมาก่อนนะครับเราพูดเรื่องซอฟต์พาวเวอร์เราพูดเรื่องภูมิปัญญาของคนตัวเล็กตัวน้อยนะครับที่ถ่ายทอดออกมานะครับเป็นภูมิปัญญาแบบไทยนะครับถ่ายทอดออกมานะครับเรามีละครที่พูดเรื่องประวัติศาสตร์ของไทยเรานะครับแต่เป็นประวัติศาสตร์ของคนที่ขับเคลื่อนเรื่องความเท่าเทียมสิทธิของสตรีนะครับเรามีละครเรามีทั้งสารคดีนะครับมีความหลากหลายมากมายซอฟต์พาวเวอร์ตอนนี้ของเราที่น่าสนใจอีกตัวหนึ่งก็คือเรามีสารคดีเกี่ยวกับอาหารไทยชื่อว่าอร่อยมาร์ก
อร่อยมาก
อร่อยมาร์ก
อร่อยมาร์ก
มาร์กคือชื่อของมาร์กวีนนะครับอินฟลูเอนเซอร์ดังที่พูดเรื่องอาหาร
ใช่
นะครับอร่อยมาร์กเนี่ยเราเอาคำว่ามาร์กวีนกับผสมกับอร่อยแบบไทยเรามามาร์กวีนเนี่ยเขาจะมานำเสนอเรื่องอาหารไทย5เมนูที่เป็นเมนูยอดนิยมของโลกและเบื้องลึกเบื้องหลังมันคืออะไรซึ่งติดตามได้เลยครับของเรา
All right, so the Content Creative Bureau, they are now focusing on 2 main programs. Firstly, the documentary, which is providing about the environment and nature, which talks a lot about the Eastern philosophy and also the local wisdom of Thai people, of the localization. And the drama, which they focus on the history, and it's not the normal history, but the history about the human right in the past of Thailand. We also have the human right history and also the woman right history in Thailand, which is very interesting. And next is the food program, right? Which called Alright Mark. Alright Mark. Actually, Mark in English is it's name of Mark Queen, but in Thai it's Mark. Mark means very. Alright Mark means very delicious. And Alright Mark comes from the Mark Queen, which is the food influencer, right? Which going to present to you the 5 top menus of Thailand, which is top menus of the world, top dishes of the world. So 3 เรื่องใช่ไหมครับผม
3-4 เรื่องครับมีจริงมีเยอะครับถ้าติดตามดูทางวิภาเนี่ยจะเห็นว่ามีหลายรายการมากครับ
Alright, so he said that you can follow up this program on Vipa, which is OTT program. And so next, you're talking about Vipa already. So next, I'd like to interview the Vipa staff. สวัสดีครับ
Hello.
Hello. So, what is Vipa?
What is Vipa?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say on behalf of Thai PBS Digital Media Department. So now we present 2 products among our many offerings, such as this is have 2 of them we call Vipa application, and the visual that she will explain to you later. So let's begin with the Vipa application.
Yes.
Okay. Vipa application is a Thai PBS OTT platform that's providing lots of contents that for mobile and big screen user. So that you can choose and spending time with your family.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Including the exclusive content such as the documentaries, such as the Thai drama for Thai PBS as well, And also we are available for the English subtitle for international viewer. Yeah, that I have the special one. This is we call big size service. Big size.
Big size?
Yeah, big size feature.
Yeah.
That is like the larger sign language window. As you can see, that is suitable for the deaf people.
Yeah.
That is the priority for Thai PBS. That in commitment, accessibility, and user experience as well. Yeah.
Wow,
This
so-
is it. Yeah.
Firstly, VIPA, the OTT products, and also the Big Sign. Yeah, we use priority to the deaf person.
This, that we concern. That we concern for the all people can watch our program.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the VIPA application.
All right, so this is very interesting because
Yeah.
TBS
This
see
is-
the importance of deaf people. Everyone should be equalization,
Yeah.
equal.
Equal.
Okay.
Every equal.
Okay.
Next to the visual.
The visual, this is the visual. สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะสำหรับ The Visual นะคะถ้าเราไม่ The Visual เนี่ยนะคะเรารู้อยู่แล้วเนาะในยุคตอนนี้ปัจจุบันเนี้ยเป็นยุคแห่งข้อมูลข่าวสาร
ครับ
ดังนั้นเนี่ยจะมีข้อมูลมากมายซับซ้อนแล้วก็เยอะเต็มไปหมดเลย ดังนั้นเนี่ย The Visual ค่ะก็เลยเกิดขึ้นมาแล้วก็มีความคิดที่จะท้าทายกับเป้าหมายเหล่านี้นั่นก็คือการที่จะใช้ทักษะของสกิลด้านของว่า analysis และการวิเคราะห์ เพื่อมาทำให้เกิดการเข้าใจที่ง่ายขึ้น ดังนั้นเนี่ยเราก็เลยคิดกันว่าการที่จะนำเสนอข่าวสารในรูปแบบออนไลน์บนผ่านเว็บไซต์เนี่ยค่ะจากการที่ปกติที่เราจะเป็นคอนเทนต์ที่เป็นเทคล้วนเราเปลี่ยนรูปแบบใหม่ เรานำเทคแล้วก็ข้อมูล Data เหล่านั้นนะคะมาทำให้เป็นวิชวลที่เคลียร์ขึ้นชัดขึ้น และเห็นปุ๊บแล้วสามารถเข้าใจในเนื้อหา โดยทั้งหมดของเนื้อหาของเราอะค่ะจะสะท้อนประเด็นของสังคม รวมถึงประเด็นที่เป็นคนพูดถึงและไม่ใช่แค่ในประเทศไทยนะคะรวมถึงประเด็นสังคมที่ในต่างประเทศด้วย
ทั่วโลกด้วยใช่ไหมครับ
ค่ะอย่างยกตัวอย่างเช่นหนึ่งเรื่องนี้นะคะตอนนี้เนี่ยจะเป็นเวอร์ชันภาษาไทยแต่ในอนาคตจะมีเวอร์ชันภาษาอังกฤษด้วย ซึ่งเป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับเรื่องของโรคร้อน ถ้าเราได้ดูก็คือตัวอย่างของงานของเราก็คือจะเป็นการที่จะพรีเซนต์นำ Data ทั้งหมดนะคะมาออกแบบรูปแบบวิชวลให้ดูเข้าใจง่าย โดยการมอง
ครับ
เพียงแค่ครั้งเดียวโดยที่ไม่ต้องตีความมากแต่ที่สำคัญค่ะในงานของเราจะไม่มีการบิดเบือนข้อมูลข่าวสาร
ครับ
ถึงแม้ว่า Data เหล่านั้นจะเป็น Data ที่เรานำมากรองใหม่ก็ตามนะคะโดยจะต้องอยู่บนพื้นฐานของจริยธรรมข่าวสารเหมือนกันค่ะ
นี่สำคัญมากเลยนะครับ
ใช่ค่ะ
So the visual is a product that provide you I can say that they are challenging with the big data, which is a lot of information in the world right now, and also in Thailand. And okay, so the visual is the big data program with challenging with the big data, and they are going to make it into the visual. Into the visual, and people can understand the thing easier, and people can watch it and see it, and it's like you're working with the big data.
Yeah.
With data.
Visual driven story.
Yeah, the visual story. And also มีภาษาอังกฤษด้วยใช่ไหมครับ
Yeah.
And they also provide in English ตรงนี้มีไหมฮะ Yes, here they are talking about how the kids in Thailand have to carry the bag each day. Yes, how many kilograms? There, 22 kilograms per day. And here they are talking about how carrying the bag each day can harm their health. All right, ขอบคุณมากครับผม It is very interesting product. ขอบคุณมากครับ All right, and we are now with Thai PBS World. Here there is Kun Ahmed Nadeem and Kun Tep Chayong, the panel discussor at the moment. So right now we are at the English news service of Thai PBS World. สวัสดีครับ Are there more microphones? Yes. So what is Thai PBS World and what we are working? Yeah.
Well, many people they are kind of confused between Thai PBS and Thai PBS World, right?
Yeah.
But we actually the same organization. But Thai PBS World, we produce English language news service.
Yeah.
So basically, what we do is we present English language news.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And yes, most of them. So our slogan is bring Thailand to the world and also bring the world to Thailand. So here we can see there is a lot of many interns in the back. So of course, that our department provides the news and other content that conclude many language and diverse content.
And the news coverage and the new coverages, it's are widely covered. For example, we also cover like domestic news, right?
Yeah.
Domestic news like serious news, hard news, and we also have soft news, which is lifestyle and features.
Yeah.
So
It seems like here we have game to play at this booth, right?
Of course, but you need to tell us first, since you are the content creator at Thai PBS World.
Oh, it's my turn. It's my turn.
So the question is, what is the most impressive that you feel it is the impressive ever since you work here?
Oh, my stress is now. So, what I'm impressing the most is I can develop my skills in Mojo or mobile journalist for the past 6 or 7 years. So now it's become my main skill, my main focusing skill, the Mojo. And also we have a lot of news article, a lot of news stories about
news stories.
art and culture and gastronomy and international relations, which I'm focusing on that.
And our flagship service of Thai PBS World is our website, because most of the news are on the websites, right? So don't forget to visit us on Thai PBS World website and other main social media, such as Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok, Thai PBS World. Thank you.
All right, so
here. I almost forgot.
I have the chance to lucky draw, right?
Do the lucky draw here.
All right. Are there any 1 million baht here?
Oh, I mean.
I like blue color.
Okay.
So I will have this one.
So the biggest prize here is number 3. So let's see what you get.
It's number 3, right?
Number 1.
Oh.
The smallest one, but
it's okay. It is very useful.
Yeah.
So
actually, normally number 1 must be the biggest prize.
I mean, it's a little trick for us here. So.
Okay, and we also have the Chinese news service also.
All right.
With
So
Nong Tian here.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you here and 欢迎大家来到我们的频道。我非常高兴能够代表 Thai PBS World 做你的新闻主播。好的。
Can you translate what you said?
I'm so glad to be a representative for Chinese news, and also we have many interns from around the world, which is now we here with Sai. She's from French, and okay, please say something.
In French?
Yeah, and actually, yeah, you can speak Thai too.
Ok, well, bonjour tout le monde, je suis ravie. Je m'appelle Sixine et je suis une. How you say that again? Stagiaire à Thai PBS. Voilà.
Oh, can you translate in English?
สวัสดีค่ะทุกคนชื่อทรายค่ะแล้วก็วันนี้เป็นของตรงนี้เป็นนักศึกษาฝึกงานค่ะที่ Thai PBS ค่ะ
So this show a lot of diversity we are. Yes, we have Chinese news service. We have also the trainee from other countries like France. So which university you from?
So the university is called INALCO, which is like
in France.
In France, yeah.
Wow, in what city?
What do you mean?
What city in France?
In Paris.
In Paris, in the capital.
Yeah, in the capital.
Wow,
so
very
it's a university where you can learn a lot of languages, especially from Asia.
So I heard that you can speak Thai, right?
ใช่พูดไทยได้ค่ะนิดหน่อยค่ะ
So you are half blood or?
ไม่ใช่ No,
really?
I'm purely French.
How long you study Thai?
It's been 4 years now.
4 years. Study Thai in France?
Yeah, in France. And last year I was an exchange student in Silpakorn, Bangkok.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So that's why you are like so fluent in Thai.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, and another intern here. You have Nong Prawa. Yeah, please introduce yourself a little bit.
Hi, my name is Prawa. I'm intern of Thai PBS World. And what's else? I also speak Korean a little bit. Yeah, 안녕하세요, 여러분. Thai PBS World 구독해주세요. 네,ก็ประมาณนี้ค่ะ.
All right.
All right, and you can see that those are our interns, and they are from Thalok, which is another program of Thai PBS World.
Yeah.
Thalok กับ Thai PBS is a program that provides the news about foreign news in Thai language. So interesting for many things about what's going on around the world, please follow us on social media and also the conventional televisions.
Yes.
Okay, so we have both on and online. Okay.
And right. Of course, like Thai PBS World, we produce English language news.
Yep.
But the coverage of the news mostly are like about like Thai news, like what's happening in Thailand. But Tan Lok is another program about international news. But we present it in Thai language, so people in Thailand or around the country would understand what is happening around the world.
Yeah.
So and we have other platforms and we have other online programs too. So if you're curious what it's all about, don't forget to follow us on Thai PBS World.
So that our vision and mission, yes, every platform on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, even on TikTok and website, Thai PBS World, search for us and stay tuned for us. Hello.
And this is our editor.
Okay, and I'm now with my boss, my big boss. Yes, Kodi Claire Pashimanon.
Hi everyone.
Yeah. So it seems like your team is very fluent in English and they are so good in explaining things about
Have you met
Thai PBS
the
World.
ladies?
Yes, already.
Yeah.
They good explaining in English and explaining about Thai PBS World.
How did you get this?
Because I play games.
Aren't you supposed to be working, man?
Because they challenged me to play game while I'm here and doing an MC job. So, and I just playing game with them, and so I have a chance to
The lucky draw.
Yes.
No, we're keeping it for our guests.
Even it's the smallest prize, I'm still very happy with it. Yes.
It's very useful.
It's very useful. I don't know what
It's a universal adapter.
Oh, that's
so
very good.
It is very useful.
That's so good.
Just like Thai PBS News.
So I heard that you are going to host one of the panel discussion, right?
Exactly, and it's on the future of news. What's next? So it's a very exciting time, especially with AI algorithms and stuff like that. It helps us determine how we can target our audience as well as presenting a lot of challenges.
Yes.
So we're going to be discussing it in the panel this afternoon.
Yeah, because I found that the topic is very interesting because they just come up with the future of news. What's next? It's quite wide and open topic. We can talk many things.
Yes, exactly. A very broad topic. So stay tuned. We've got 2 live sessions, I believe, one in the morning and one in the afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, and he'll be your host during the break.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care. I hope you enjoy it. Bye.
Hope you enjoy it. So don't forget to follow our social media platform. Firstly, Thai PBS News, and Thai PBS World. So we have both Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and also website. So here, people are playing game here right now.
Hi, sir. What did you get?
I play and
I think he
number 1.
The same.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a universal adapter, right?
Yeah. It's very useful gift.
Thank you, Thai PBS.
Thank you.
So where are you from?
I'm from Bangladesh.
Wow.
Bangladesh.
So how do you find it in this forum so far?
It's so nice and very beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can I speak in Bangla?
Bangla?
Yes.
What's that?
Can I speak in Bangla?
Oh, yeah, sure.
থাই পিবিএসকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ, তারা অসাধারণ একটা প্রোগ্রাম করেছে এবং আমি মনে করি যে এই ধরনের প্রোগ্রাম যত বেশি করবে তা অনেক বেশি ভালো লাগবে। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad Masadur. Mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. All right, so okay, here. All right, so right now I'm with Kun Ahmed Nadim, the Secretary General of ABU. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Abdul Latif. And this is your microphone.
Okay.
All right, so you've been talking about the purpose of today's events, and also I would like you to talk a bit to the audience here about why the future of news is a very important topic that we have to make it becoming the big issue and make it becoming the Global News Forum here today.
Yeah, I think the issue of future of news is very, very significant for us, especially coming from our Asiavision News Exchange platform. One thing that is very strong and one thing that is very, very important coming out from our Asiavision News Exchange is that in this era of so much fake news and so much bad news going around, Asiavision is a platform where you can get authentic news from its source. So that's one of the strongest points of Asiavision. I think what we have heard from the news leaders in the last session about the future of news and about being careful how the social media is driving news so that we maintain our credibility and we maintain the trust with the audience. I think that's key.
Yeah, the trust is everything.
That's everything for us.
Yeah, just with the trust. The accuracy, the trust is important than the fast.
Yeah. Being fast is not the thing. We should not be competing with social media on the news platform, but we should be using social media to bring the news that the audience needs. There are two different things. What they want and what they need are two different things. Sometimes they want to know about this, and they will use their means to get it. But I think what is important for us is to bring together the sources, the credible sources, the trusted sources, and give them what they need so that they are well informed and well guided on the topics that they are following.
Yeah. So in today's media landscape, everyone can be the news reporter.
Exactly.
With just only one mobile phone. So how the news industry is still important for today's world?
No, I think what is important again, probably we are repeating the same thing. To make sure that we don't lose the trust with the audience. I think that's the most important part. Time and again we have seen that, for example, the pandemic was one of the best examples of this, that we saw the ratings of public service media going up and up during the pandemic because they trust the sources. So I think we should maintain that credibility, maintain that trust with the audience. As long as we continue to do that, I think we should be okay.
Okay, so maybe the last question for today. Why do the audience have to stay with us in the live session, in the live video here until the end of the day?
Because there are very nice, very interesting topics coming out. For example, we haven't touched the area of artificial intelligence yet, but there's one session today specifically talking about artificial intelligence and specifically talking about how it is affecting and what role it is going to play for the future of news. So these are very, very important. Please be with us. And I think this is one good example of why we should be on all platforms all the time.
Yeah, that's why we should be here until the end of the day.
Yes,
so thank you
we
very much,
should be,
Kun Ahmad Nadeem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you around.
See you around.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, and next, I'm going to talk with one of our colleagues. Yeah, she is the editor of Dialogueกับ Thai PBS.
Yeah, online platform.
Online platform. Yes. Yeah. So actually, we say that Thai PBS World is English news service, but not just only English. We also provide news in Thailand.
Right.
And we also talk about.
Right, we have a foreign affairs news in Thai. So if you're interested in foreign affairs or international news, please check it out. Dialogueกับ Thai PBS. We have a variety of platforms. First, of course, Facebook. And second is Instagram, and also on TikTok. You can search it. Dialogue with Thai PBS. And on the page, on online platform, we have several programs as well. I don't know if you have watched it. Uncover.
Yeah, I've watched already.
You liked it?
Sure, for sure. It's a very good program.
Thank you. So we have Uncover. It's a short video. So
and also the archive.
Yeah, we also have archive. For Uncover is short video, and then we talk about things daily. For archive, as you mentioned, we talk about history and in-depth about each of the content. For example, we do have a Myanmar content last week. Please check it out. And next week, we also have content about Iran, and we'll have about Mala.
Do you like mala?
No,
Chinese
I don't
mala?
like spicy food. I
You're
don't
not
like
good
spicy
with
food.
spice. You're not good with spice.
My stomach. My stomach is so bad with spicy.
I love spice.
I
I love spice. So if you're interested in mala or Chinese food, please check it out. It will be launched next week.
And there'll be more interesting content at Talok with Thai PBS.
Yep. Right.
Yep. Archive, uncover. And
we also have daily news.
Daily news, yeah.
A short video clip as well.
All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
You didn't introduce yourself. Yeah. Sorry, it's my fault. So please introduce yourself.
Okay, right now.
Yeah,
okay.
right now.
I'm Natasha Kitmong. You can call me Minnie. I'm news editor for Talok Online.
All right, so follow her at Talok Online. Every
Right.
platform, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube, no?
We do have YouTube as well.
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and also TikTok.
Yes, please.
All right, please.
Thank
Both
you.
English and Thai service.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, so the panel 2 is ready under the topic of generative AI, the new paradigm. So I'd like to send you all here back to the panel room with the second panel. So see you again next break with me กิตติวัฒน์ ชื่นสุขจิต สวัสดีครับ
Welcome back, everyone. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you one of the Future of News Report essayists, Kaori Lida, head of the Digital News Division at NHK Japan, to discuss Impression Zombies. Please welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am very honored and delighted to be talking to you today. Let me see if this works. Oops. Sorry about that. When you hear the word zombie, you might imagine something like this. No? Maybe something a bit scarier, like this. These are made by my colleagues using third-party AI, generative AI tools. And before I talk about what I mean by the zombies, I would like to talk about the Great Noto Peninsula earthquake and the mis- and disinformation that followed. On January 1st of this year at 4:10 p.m., a massive earthquake hit Japan. It was the first day of the Year of the Dragon when families and friends were gathered. Noto Peninsula is part of Ishikawa Prefecture, which is the northern part of Honshu, which is the main island of Japan. The magnitude was 7.6, which is massive, and 281 people lost their lives. As Japan's sole public broadcaster, NHK immediately started airing from the devastated area. However, what we found out was that our broadcasting equipment was severely damaged, and people in the area could not receive our airwaves. So what became very important was digital format news and old-fashioned radio. These are some of the screenshots from our smartphone. The ones in black are push notifications on approaching tsunami, which happens pretty often in Japan. We used our website and app to notify the audience, and this was effective in reaching our audience to share information on blackouts, water shortage, and road blockades. We've been talking about social media this morning, and social media was obviously very important to convey our message to the public. What you need to know about Japan, the Japanese media, the social media landscape, is that Twitter X is very ubiquitous. Of course, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube are important tools. However, Twitter X is the most widely used. According to Linda Yaccarino, the CEO of X, over 40 million people per day use X. That is 1 in 3 members of the Japanese population. And while Twitter X was an important tool to reach our audience, it was also a means for spread of mis and disinformation. These are some of the false information that we debunked during the first couple of weeks after the Noto earthquake. Something typical goes like this. Social media posts falsely claim the earthquake was man-made. We saw 250,000 posts on the artificial earthquake hypothesis by the end of the second day. And some featured videos from past events, such as a meteorological agency press conference about seismic activity following a North Korean nuclear test, which is not true. We also engaged in pre-bunking. We called attention to false information regarding the quake and tsunami that people might see on their smartphones from day one. From past reporting on gubernatorial elections, we knew that pre-bunking would be very effective. I strongly believe that it's better to be prepared than to scramble to find credible information after the fact. Which brings me to the title of my presentation, The Rise of Impression Zombies. So what do I mean by impression zombies? We define impression zombies as the following: accounts that swarm around posts going viral by copying, stealing the message, and/or reposting meaningless words to gain impressions, that is, to monetize on social media. In Japan, we call these the zombie because zombies tend to come in herds out of nowhere with no spirit or energy. They just kind of float around. I'm told by my American friends that this will be called content farming, or MFA, made for advertising in the US. Impression zombies became a huge problem through the spread of mis and disinformation following the Noto earthquake. Fake SOS rescue calls surged due to revenue sharing incentives. Such posts could affect rescue activities and lead to confusion during evacuations, which actually happened. One important element is that these were in Japanese, which appear to be trustworthy for the Japanese public. Some posts were from impression zombies in Japanese from accounts with profiles in Urdu, Hindi, and Arabic. Many were copy and paste, and many had very strange Japanese. My colleagues created a spreadsheet of addresses from rescue requests on Twitter X. We found that some do not even exist. We learned that some of the posts were from foreign countries for monetization purposes. You'll love the title. We did a subsequent article. The title was, I Used to Be a Zombie. We tracked 24 accounts in Japanese by these impression zombies on a weekly basis. 936 posts, the bar in orange. We found 936 posts in the first week of January 2024. In a particular case, we found a gentleman in Pakistan who confirmed to us using footage from the 2011 earthquake, which I will talk about, as footage from the Noto earthquake to monetize. This gentleman claimed that he was paid $75 by gaining impressions. We knew that these fake tweets were coming because it happened before. It happened in 2011 when the great East Japan earthquake and the nuclear plant accident in Fukushima happened. NHK faced challenges concerning information on social media, including untrue and sometimes very harmful advice with regards to medical treatment to offset the effects of radiation from the Fukushima nuclear accident. So we knew it was coming. This inspired us to launch a social media watch project called SALT, the Social Listening Team. This was launched in October 2013. The team monitors Twitter X, Facebook 24/7, and the monitoring is done by mostly students interested in journalism who are much more attentive to social media than I am, and who usually consume news through social media rather than television. Once they find dubious or suspicious information on social media, they would pass it down onto the beat reporters. And reporters do what reporters are supposed to do. They contact their sources, they verify the information, they fact check. And I have a 2-minute video.
Hi, this is Saiki Mai, a university student in Tokyo. Today, I would like to present ASSAULT, the social listening team, where I work as a student researcher.
Located at the center of NHK's news floor, we work in 3 shifts and operate 24/7. This is how ASSAULT works. The top screen shows information on disasters, accidents, and incidents that are circulating on social media. These are automatically coded by AI system. We, humans, verify the location, judge the value, and of course check the credibility of the information. These decisions are yet to be done by AI. Once we believe there is ample information, we pass this on to reporters working on the news floor. I am always careful that the information is newsworthy and obviously not fake.
Newsrooms are always busy. If we report everything we catch from social media, information will be floated, right? That's why we need to extract and report only the information that might be newsworthy.
The ASSAULT also catches trends, flames, and fake information flowing through social media. These are also important targets for us. Let me show you a recent example. We caught wind of information that eating a loquat seed was an effective measure for cancer. An NHK reporter who covers the medical field gathered further information and denied this, which became significant news in Japan.
As for myself, I hope to strengthen the bond between the scholars and news media and build further creative journalism.
Thank you. That was video from our ASSAULT team. During the Noto earthquake, we found that it wasn't necessarily the state-of-the-art generative AI images or footage that were trying to fool us. Images or videos from past earthquakes were more the norm. Another challenge that we face, and I'm sure that you all face, is imposter content for credible media. We found NHK imposter content on the Noto earthquake and nuclear reactor. We also found, in April, an NHK imposter content on a high-ranking North Korean official being a well-known Japanese woman abducted from Japan, which is not true. Allowing NHK imposter content on geopolitical issues to go viral would create a nightmare given the current tensions in East Asia. As in so many other countries, in Japan, smartphones are more important tools than television to consume news for many. I believe that we need to catch up with the new technology, and we need to meet today's audience where they are. Having said that, in Japan, we have a very unique challenge. 30% of our population is over 65. 10% of the population is over 80. And while many elderly people will use their smartphone to video chat with their grandchildren, like my parents do, some are indifferent to new technology. As a public broadcaster, we need to be mindful of 2 very different cohorts. One has limited appetite for television and uses smartphones for news. The other receives daily information basically from television. But whatever the device, we must deliver accurate and independent news in a timely manner. And of course, the AI challenge. On the left-hand side, you'll see AI-generated fake images of floods. On the right-hand side, you'll see news of a fake video of Prime Minister Kishida using graphic language, which I'm sure he does not use, and it's difficult to differentiate fact from fiction. The overall topic of the session is the future of news, and if I can state the obvious, the future of news is trust. Debunking false news is playing whack-a-mole. Our top priority is to make journalism products valuable enough that people seek them out daily. Large natural disasters like the one that happened in Japan earlier this week test us to the limit and differentiate us from other media. Of course, using new technology is important to maintain trust. NHK is part of the CAI, it's also part of the C2PA. We are trying new technologies to maintain trust. NHK will be celebrating its 100th year of broadcasting next year. We started radio broadcasting in March 1925. This was against the backdrop of the Great Kanto earthquake. And 100 years ago, that's the original photo on the right bottom side. That's the original photo. Smoke was added, and then poof, fake photo. I think it's fascinating that fake photos and conspiracy theories were circulating 100 years ago. Can I end my presentation? I have 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. We need to remain a trustworthy news organization to stay relevant and to survive another 100 years. And this is another zombie that my colleague made. We cannot allow the zombies to roam around. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Kaori. Her presentation is very useful, and I think it can provide you a better understanding of this word so that you can differentiate between zombies in the movies and zombies in this presentation. But actually, presentations and showcases are among highlights in the Global News Forums every year. So please stay tuned because there are many presentations and showcases in this year's forum as well. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about artificial intelligence or AI, today it plays an important role in newsrooms around the world, including Thailand. As we can see a number of examples ranging from AI anchors to AI tools, Thai PBS also uses this sort of technology to facilitate the workflow of the newsrooms as well. So the next panel will discuss about the role of AI, and we will see what is the role of AI tools in the newsroom nowadays. And to learn more about AI, it's time for the second panel discussion, Generative AI, the New Paradigm. Please welcome your moderator, Trevor C. Lee, the Assistant News Editor from TVB Hong Kong.
Good morning, everyone. We are now living in a world with new technology rising, and new order is setting by all these novel ideas and novel technology advancement. And in this session, we are very honored to have 4 eminent guests with us. Panelists will share their on-hand experience and the love-hate relationship of the news industry and the AI. So first of all, let's introduce all of our eminent guests. First, we have Atson C. Tang-Dok Jr., Professor of the Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. He is also Associate Editor of Digital Journalism and Associate Editor of Human Communication Research. And he worked as a newspaper journalist for 6 years before pursuing his doctoral studies at the Missouri School of Journalism. Thank you. And we will have Kaoli Lida again, Director of Digital News Division at NHK. She was the editor of NHK's flagship news program, Newswatch 9. And before that, she was the LA Bureau Chief, and she was also the Senior Economic Correspondent in Washington, D.C. And then we have Kanapron Pasifan. And a friend from Thai TBS too. She is the Digital Media Director. She oversees all digital strategies and their executions at Thai PBS. we have Dr. Jiravat Takmaditanon, CEO and co-founder of Quantum Technology Foundation Thailand. And he's also a research fellow at the Thailand Center of Excellence in Physics. Thank you. Let's have a great round of applause again for our 4 panelists. To begin with, we have Edson, and I know you have some research and some survey results for us that the attitude of journalists now on hand in the industry about generative AI. Can you share more with us?
Yes. Thanks, Trevor. Very happy to be here. As Trevor mentioned, I was a newspaper reporter before, but unlike you, I chickened out. So now I'm studying journalism and teaching journalism instead. I'll be sharing with you some research that we've been doing at our center, the Center for Information Integrity and the Internet at NTU in Singapore. There's been lots of research being done on automation many years ago, but automation used to be studied and implemented as an organizational form of adoption, meaning news organizations invest in automation technologies, and it also opened a way for technology logic, to go into media logic. So these tools were not designed originally for journalism, but I think what's interesting now with generative AI is we can also look at it as an individual level adoption where individual journalists, regardless of whether their organization is okay with it or not, can actually use AI in their work. What I'll be sharing with you will be findings from 2 surveys that we've done. One with Singaporean journalists as part of the Worlds of Journalism survey. The other one as a survey of news managers from news organizations in Asia with One IFRA. So the first baseline findings would be based on a survey we've done in Singapore. We've asked journalists in Singapore whether their news organization uses generative AI. We have only 21.8% of our 170 respondents saying that their organization uses Gen AI. In terms of whether they are using it, a smaller percentage, 17.9%, said they're using it, but a large percentage, 64.7%, say that they're not opposed to using it. They're not using it yet, but they're also not opposed to using it. But we see some skepticism among Singaporean journalists. You see, when we ask them about different attitudes toward the use of Gen AI, 64.7% say that they do not trust the quality of work produced by Gen AI. So there is some openness, but at the same time, some skepticism. But again, this is consistent with journalists' attitudes being protective of our turf, right? I think in the earlier panel, there's some discourse on how there may be some unwillingness to embrace change. When we ask them how their company uses generative AI, these are the 4 broad areas where they use it. 1, idea generation and refinement, using it for headline testing, for example. A lot of them also talk about using it for transcription, translation, summarization. Others use it for content improvement, checking grammar, proofreading. For me, was the most interesting, I would say the most contentious use is using it for content generation and writing. One participant said they use it to create a first draft of an article or even generate an email. Moving into our survey with Asian newsroom managers, we also asked them whether they allow their journalists to use Gen AI, such as ChatGPT, when producing stories. It's split. 51.1% of about 50 respondents said they allow their journalists to use it. Those companies that allow their journalists to use Gen AI, about 64% say they have ethical guidelines in place that guide their journalists in terms of how they should use Gen AI. In terms of attitudes, we see positive attitudes, mostly positive attitudes from news managers saying it's useful and it's helpful in their work. In terms of how they're using it, I tried to map it across, the different stages of news production, from access and observation to selection and filtering to processing and editing. So these are some of the responses we got in terms of how their news organization are using AI. The question, though, is, okay, it's saving us time, it's making our work processes more efficient if we can outsource some of the work to generative AI. But one thing I'm thinking about is with all these time that we save, what are newsrooms going to do with it, right? Are we going to produce more bite-sized content? Are we going to give audiences more things to pay their attention to? And that might inadvertently add to this discourse of news overload, news fatigue that we've discussed in the earlier panel. And second question is whether audiences actually like content from Gen AI. I think that's another question that we've also been thinking about. We're doing some research on experiments, looking at how audiences respond to Gen AI authored news pieces. But I'll reserve that for another discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Edson. And how news people are looking at the novel ideas or new paradigm of the AI is shown on the statistics. And for the rise of artificial intelligence, there are many problems arise. Like it possibly enhance the efficiency, speed up the news gathering process, but at the same time, fact checking and upholding editorial standard is also very crucial for newsroom now upon the rise of AI. So we have some execution problems for in the newsroom. So how about in NHK? What is the employment of AI, or what is the execution about AI in NHK?
If I can try to get my presentation. Oh, oops, went too far. To be honest, at NHK, we are not actively using generative AI as of yet. However, we are using general AI. I visited Thai PBS yesterday, and I think PBS was also talking about AI newsreader. Being from Japan, manga is very important to us. We had AI newsreader manga, as you can see, which originally started in 2018. And currently we're not using the manga, we're just using the voice. And how we're using the generative AI newsreader is that, for instance, if you can look at the green screen, it's about a candidate's biography. We need to broadcast by regulation the political election candidates. There was one election that came up a couple of weeks ago to elect the governor of Tokyo, and we saw a record 56 candidates. And it would be very hard for a human being to read 56 biographies. So we had the AI newsreader do that. We also use it for daily news, and we also use it for disaster-related news airing throughout the night, because you don't want to have a newsreader read through all the night. We also use AI to summarize news segments and programs. In the earlier panelist, we heard about people not being patient to watch the whole segment. So what we do is we have the AI transcribe the introductory paragraph or the lead. The AI selects the best shots, and it automatically selects footage that matches the lead. For instance, a 3-minute, 30-second segment would be a 20-second segment. Our new news is 15 minutes. We could shrink it down to 3 minutes. This is my last presentation. We also use AI translation for our live streaming. On the left-hand side, you see the CNN debate from, I guess it was last week. Yeah. And we use it for 11 languages, including 8 types of English and 3 types of Chinese. We also did it for President Putin. And as you can see, the challenge is more about visualization rather than the translation itself. There's too many Japanese words crunched into one screen. So with regards to Gen AI, we recently updated our editorial policy, but as I said at the outset, we're not actively using it as of yet. So I'm very eager to hear what my friends and colleagues are doing in their newsroom. Thank you.
So Carly, do you see any risk in implementing Gen AI in the newsroom operations?
Actually, I do. We're not sure what it will bring out. And at NHK, I think we're very cautious, so we're trying to see what other news organizations are doing. But we are trying to be prepared and trying to think about the risks as well.
Did disinformation and misinformation that are provided or generated by artificial intelligence, how to tackle those? How to avoid broadcasting something generated by AI directly any gatekeeping?
Well, obviously, you need to fact check, as the Prime Minister of Thailand earlier mentioned today. We are also using third-party AI tools to catch fake footages, but we aren't actively using it as of yet.
Thank you, Lisa. And we have Kanapon. Thank you for the tour yesterday that we've been to Thai PBS for very thoughtful ideas of employing different social media platforms. And we would like to know more that how Thai PBS respond to the surge of generative AI. Any implement into the process of information gathering?
Yes, thank you, Taylor. Nowadays, I think media organization in Thailand is, and worldwide was that aware in the AI impact. In the Thai PBS in particular, we use the AI a lot of integrated with the product and services. I have the few slides to show the example of the AI that integrated with our product. If you see if you visit the website, the visual, we create the AI. That is the AI to create the image and video. And if you visit there, if you see our product in short form video via social media, the anchor, that is the AI. And if you go to the news website, news.thaipbs.or.th, you will see the audio player that is generated, the AI voice, that is the AI. And next, if you visit or have the question via Live Thai PBS and Facebook messaging, that is the AI as well. And in the television, so now Thai PBS, if you the sport promoter and sport promotion, we have the AI voice as well. And this year, if you visit the website in live streaming and the Thai PBS application, you will see the icon is vertical live. That is the AI. And the AI can generate the segmentation of the audience. Vipar is the video streaming platform of Thai PBS. We have the playlist of the special playlist for each audience and smart recommendation, that is the AI. And this year, we try to use the AI for integrate with the newsroom for the news summary. This is not launched right now, and our website and application is automatically to summary by AI to the short article. And for sport program, we try to use the AI data integrated when the sport program puts the more knowledge, more data via television on air. Okay, that is an example of the Thai PBS. That if you know that another way, Thai PBS use the AI integrated the product and services and develop and set the training program for the journalists and content creator, and many positions have to train and reskill and upskill for the AI program, training program. And the other part, we partnership with the technology company and startup to try the AI in newsroom and other part with the production as well.
How do you see Gen AI's potential? How would Thai PBS employing AI in the future, like 3 to 5 years? What do you think? How would AI change the industry?
I think in next 5 years, I think the AI will powerful more than this, and I think that everyone accept the AI powerful, and I think PBS will have to improve the AI in the product. I think the hyper personalization recommendation, the high quality with the content creation and production. That the high quality, I mean not only the news article, but high quality for the smart recommendation, high quality for production, high quality for the work faster, and the better the accuracy of AI, high quality for format for the serve the content for audience, everything. And the most important for the newsroom is the workflow, the internal, the system, the software, every software in the next, I think they embedded or integrate with the AI.
Thank you. And from research to execution, we found pros and cons of AI. So we have Jiravat here, who is working in the technology industry that maybe have another viewpoint for us. Right. How do you think the media sector employing Gen AI, do you think they are using it right, or anything that we could add on by AI? How do you think of that?
Thank you. I think from what I heard, I think they're going to the right direction at the first step, where you use AI to do kind of a bookkeeping things like edit the typos or get summaries to reduce the man hours. But I think the kind of the end goal, in my opinion, is that what AI is doing is it brings human into the digital form. So if you look at ChatGPT, for example, it's not just a pure technology that learn about random information on the internet. You have people sitting behind it, telling it what to think. Right? When you ask specific questions, let's say I ask them a lot about how to code, there is actually a real programmer behind the technologies that teach them that this is the good way to code. Or if you ask them about like specific political views, for example, there is a pattern that it will answer. So I think from the media point of view, I think they should start with non-technology questions. So basically, who exactly they are, how are they different from other medias, and then figure out how to put that uniqueness into the generative AI, so the generative AI can think like they can do. Right? You don't, let's say you use ChatGPT, you should not just go there and ask questions, because then you will get ChatGPT AI to your content. But if you pre-train your ChatGPT to be, let's say, Thai PBS GPT, then everything that you say will reflect on the kind of the core values of the news company. And I think that's the next step that the media industry should go to. Otherwise, everyone will just go to ChatGPT and produce pretty much similar content. So in a sense, when you think about generative AI, personally, I think you should think in terms of discriminative AI. So basically, how would you discriminate yourself from the rest, where everyone is using generative AI? So that's kind of my short answer to your question.
And as you have said, we have to introduce a generative AI or a chatbot, which is according to the DNA of newsroom. How could we do that? Any expectation or anything that we could start now and to kick off this?
Well, you can start talking, kind of brainwashing the ChatGPT to be your DNA first, right? So, for example, before you asking them certain questions, you can specify the characters of the chatbot first, or you can specify some sort of values into them first, and then you test first whether they really talk like your DNA before that, and then you can use it. But having said that, because of the nature of the LLM technology, large language model, which is behind things like ChatGPT, you cannot be 100% sure of what they're going to talk about. So I think another area that is quite important and the media should be working on is the auditor AI. So you should have an independent AI model that do the audit for your generative AI. For example, if it starts to say something that not according to the company's value, it should flag and report to the people.
Gerard has brought a really novel point of teaching AI to help the newsroom. Though we know all this is about input, that we have to get investment into the AI. Under many circumstances, post-COVID, economic downturns, newsroom now are really scarce in putting in new investment into AI. And how could we utilize the money, or what we should do first by limited investment into AI?
Well, what I said just now, I don't think you need to use a lot of investments. I think ChatGPT relatively is quite cheap. If you consider the cost per token, you don't need to really buy stuff. Everything can be done online. So I think it's important to have a few people that work on training the AI full time, so that the AI can have the DNA of your company, and then you can generalize that. I don't think cost would be an issue on this part.
Okay, and I have a question for all of our 4 panelists. And do you think generative AI is changing the criteria of we picking editors or journalists or producers? Do you think they are in a competition?
You mean human journalists and AI?
Yeah,
I can understand how some journalists might see it that way. When the idea of automation was new in journalism, a lot of journalists expressed fears about job displacement. We saw a little bit of that, I think, but not a lot. With AI, I think some of the individual journalists see it more as something that can complement their work, because it can help simplify, automate some of the processes that they used to do. So I don't see it as a form of competition. But I think it boils down to the sense of accountability. Is who do we hold accountable when things go wrong, especially if we're using AI in a lot of our work. If things go wrong, will the machine be held accountable? How would that look like? Or the human journalist should still be held accountable?
How about selecting newcomers of the newsroom, like new journalists, new editors? Do they need any extra abilities or extra knowledge on AI to be employed?
I think it will be important from now on that the journalists on the ground know what's going on, know what you can do with generative AI, what you cannot do. And I also think that people on the C-suite, the executives also need to know what's happening. And if I can build on what was discussed earlier, I think there could be competition with regards to creativity. I noticed that in the Thai PBS presentation that you use Adobe Firefly. The impression zombies that I created were created by Adobe Firefly. We cannot broadcast that, and we cannot stream that due to our IP, our intellectual property rules. So competition, not just among journalists, but I think in the creative area might become an issue as well.
Yes, for me, it's, I think for new skill, for journalist or producer or content creator, I think have to learn the new thing, but for most important, the first thing I think understanding AI. The journalists have to understand AI because the technology is it cannot stop or hold back, and AI will become smarter. So the journalists or everyone, I think everyone have to jump into the AI transformation, to learning, to upskill, reskill, to try the AI, to welcome the AI in your life. And the second one, I think the skill about the data or AI literacy, because as you know, the AI, in the future, AI will get them throw the information a lot in the digital space, have the more information. AI will help you to make it easy, faster. But I think journalists have to upskill to have the verification, to have to prove the fact, to have to find the original sources, that fact checking. This is a duty of the next journalist. And the last one, I think journalists have to be the audience engagement, interest in audience engagement, because in the future, technology will change your audience change anymore. So because your audience is not the passive audience anymore, so journalists have to concern the engagement and via every platform and and so on. I think many things that journalists have to learning, but the most important thing is the journalists or everyone have to skill the adaptability and continuous learning, because technology has changed so fast, more and more. I think that is. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanapon. And Chirawan?
May I add maybe a little another angle here on the cybersecurity? I think it's quite important with the generative AI as well. So let me give you an example. Let's say I use generative AI to create impression zombies. I really like the term. Except that with generative AI, my zombies look exactly like people. You know, instead of like very short posts, I can have a slightly longer post that's something that look like have a good logic, but it's actually a fake news. So I can use this tool, for example, to put some political bias for example, into the internet to create some sort of attack, to someone. And then on top of that, let's say I can fake even my digital identities of this AI to be Thai PBS AI. So now I can kind of use this cybersecurity attack to fake that, to create an attack on Thai PBS that she is the victim who created this generative AI to attack other people with the impression zombie. So all these things they go together. So I think when you think about the threat of generative AI, we should not just think about like the fake news, but it's also the cybersecurity as well, because generative AI is like a superhuman with digital identities. And if that digital identity is stolen, then that's it. Your DNA got stolen. So.
Thank you, Chirawan. And last questions. News is always about human touch that we see from NHK. Manga, Anchor, it's alternatives, but we are not quite using it now. So how do we have a good balance between human touch storytelling and efficient storytelling by AI?
I'm supposed to go first. Okay. Okay. I think you're touching on an important point, which is the audience perspective. We've been doing experiments looking at how people respond to AI attributed stories. An experiment that we did across 3 countries: Singapore, Korea, Germany, and the US, 4 countries actually. We found that across the board, when we tell people that this story is written by AI, they tend to trust it more than when we tell them that the same story was written by a human. So there's something that's going on in there. But it's not just attribution, but it's also like maybe how it's written. In another experiment, we also manipulated whether it's written in an objective manner or a subjective manner. I think audiences have expectations of how certain types of authors behave. And when those expectations are violated, they also then respond accordingly.
Calvi?
Like it or not, it's coming. And if you're not going to use it, the AI is going to be using you. So I think we should know what's going on. And I think the last word should be given to the human beings. And as you put it in your question, to make our workflow efficient, I think we should use AI. But the last word should be given to the humans.
Thank you. And Chirawan, do you have any?
The question again?
Human interests and efficiency.
Right.
A balance between when we're using AI.
Human efficiencies. Well, human efficiency. Sorry, I don't exactly get the question.
It's about storytelling.
Right.
When we use AI,
right.
we always
It's
focus
efficient.
on the efficiencies.
Right, right.
But sometimes we would
It's
like
not
to have some
personal.
personal human interest stories.
Okay,
So
okay.
how can we have a good balance between that?
Well, it's what I mentioned earlier. Is I think the challenge is how do you put the DNA of your companies into the AI. And if I would do it, if I, let's say I'm a CEO of a media company, which I'm not, I would have a team that to work full time to put the DNA of the company to the AI, and then use the AI to generate some, let's say, articles, and then we pass these articles down to the employees in the team, and see whether they can identify whether it's human written or the machine written or not. If it passed the test, which is called Turing test, then that's it. You get the ChatGPT of your company.
So it's very important for newsroom to employ AI and make it into themselves, to absorb it instead of just having another AI outside.
Which is possible. It's not just like one prompt and you get the answer. It's about brainwashing the AI to be yourself as well.
Thank you, Jirawat. And it's a wrap for our sections, and it's time for another panel discussions. And let's give a big round of applause again for our 4 panelists. Thank you, Edson. Thank you, Edson C. Tong-Dok Jr., Kelly Lida, and Kanapon Pasiphan, and Dr. Jirawat Tapanitanon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Trevor, and all panelists. Let's take a group photo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, aside from AI, we can see the growing role of social media platforms in the newsrooms as well. So our next panel discussion, the social media tango, the changing relationship between news organizations and social media companies. Please welcome your moderator, Stella Maurizio, senior journalist from Fiji TV. Please welcome.
Social Media Tango, the changing relationship between news organizations and social media companies. I'm honored to introduce the group of panelists this morning. Our first panelist is Professor Emeritus Dr. Pirongrong Ramasutta, who is the Commissioner at Thailand's National Broadcasting and Telecommunication. She previously was the Vice President of Chulalongkorn University and Professor of Communications. She researched and taught media policy regulations and social media implications of information and communication technology. Our second panelist is Emilio San Pedro. He is the head of Eurovision News Exchange at the European Broadcasting Union. Prior to joining the EBU in 2021, he was at the BBC for 22 years, where he was a World Service presenter and also played a leading role in launching the BBC's Breaking News Twitter account. Our third panelist, ladies and gentlemen, Clark Tang Swan, who is the co-founder of Wayside. Wayside, it provides analytics tools to help consumer brands, agencies, government organizations, and educational institutions to unlock the potential of social media data. Our fourth and final panelist, ladies and gentlemen, Katie Bream, who is the head of innovation at France TV, the French public broadcaster, and she is the editor-in-chief of the blog Meta Media. Dr. Ramasuta, I will start off with you. What drives news production in the digital ecosystem?
Morning. I prepared some slides, and I think this should be okay. This is what drives news production, and actually any kind of content production in the new digital ecosystem. I think, especially in the news sphere, in the journalistic sphere, for that matter, dataification, because when news production or any kind of content production coupled with social media, the overriding economics of digital platform is dataification. That's when the platform are using the data collected on the users, and they use that for economic and sometimes social and political ends. So to answer your question, I think the crux of dataification would be built upon what we call attention economy, because we want to know what people are interested in, what drives their attention. And so, like in Thailand, for example, I've learned this from Nielsen, which is a major media marketing company in Thailand, media research that's been in Thailand and globally for a long time. And an executive at Nielsen was giving me this information that Thailand, Thai broadcasters, unlike in Europe or in other Asian countries, tend to distribute their content via third-party platforms, which is social media. And what this means is that Thai audience are not active or are not very serious about getting news, because it's like they like news to be fed to them, they like information to be fed to them. So it doesn't really matter what brand or the credibility that comes with the branding of the source, the news source. So so this fits right into the logic of social media company, because when they know, that people are on this specific social demographics interested in, they could most accurately predict, what would be interesting to the certain group of people using the data that they collect from the user profiles or the behavior that the users are interacting on the media platforms.
Thank you for that. Claude, maybe if you could just elaborate more on this and how algorithms, how do you work that in Thailand?
Okay, so first of all, Whiteside is, we are not media company though. We are not news agencies. Whiteside is a data company. We collect data, public data from a lot of sources in social media included in Thailand and also in ASEAN region. So we work a lot with social media platforms. So can you give me 1 second? Can you show me the hand if you are from social media platform? Is any one of you guys come from social media platforms? Can I see your hands? Nope. Okay, fine. That's what I expected. I'm expected. Social media platform, as everyone knows, it drives content by what we call algorithm or AI or whatever you're going to call it, right? And no one, or maybe not any nation's government or regulator is regulating all of these algorithms. So they are fully driven by audience. So audience is the one who drive algorithm of social media. Yep. And algorithm will try to please the audience as much as they work. Yep. But then social media is one thing which is the main function of social media that they are different from, traditional media or maybe mass media, that anyone can post anything. Yep. And maybe like bad news is more yummy than fact, right? So we consume a lot of bad news. We consume a lot of rumors, scandals, things like that. And then social media is just one single place where all of this mix up. That's why we say like algorithm is downgrade news, or maybe people stop consuming news, which is fact, something like that, because there's something like mix up, right? Because fake news or rumors may be in your coffee table, but you saw fact in television or maybe newspaper. So that's how algorithm works. So I think I'll wrap up this first. News had to adapt and evolve to work perfectly on social media, and there are a lot of success cases that they can successfully evolve as well. And yep, so we'll go like this first.
If I could just add briefly, I don't think algorithm is driven exclusively by audience. I think it's also designed, and we have talked a lot about algorithmic accountability. That is this big black box of AI that nobody could actually participate in. And we still don't know how to actually participate in the process of teaching machine to learn. And I think that's what, when we talk about algorithm, it's all about attention, it's all about engagement, right? And so that's, actually, I'm going to go to the second question to answer that we're pursuing totally different ideals. When it comes to news, it's you have to report the truth. You have to nourish citizens, into participation, into democratic participation. But what algorithm cares about is engagement. Just the number of people who click, numbers of people who interact, and that's because it's taught. Because AI and machine is taught and learned just to do that exclusively. There's no value or ethics being embedded in the teaching of AI to nurture a good society. Sorry.
Thank you. Emilio, you have a helicopter view of what your members across Europe are doing. Is there concern that reliance on social media platforms may leave them empty-handed because of the changing algorithms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, just to pick up on what you just said, we're talking about, and we heard from Omar Farouk earlier from our member TRT from the EBU, we have, there are two very different interests here trying to play together, hence the title Social Media Tango, if I can go back to that. And I've been giving that a great deal of thought, and I happen to be from a culture that really loves a good dance, Cuban culture, and I can tell you that this is not an easy dance at all. We're talking about, as you very well said, the news side of it, especially public service media, on one hand, wanting very specific things and wanting to get that information out to its audience or draw in new audiences. And on the other side, you have these tech companies that have ballooned, that are now huge corporations with massive budgets and a very different culture. Their culture is, first of all, American to a great extent. That is to say, in America, the dollar, the money talks first. So you're talking about a culture that is driven in one direction, and here we come from public media, especially saying, we have all these wonderful values and we want you to play ball with us or dance with us. So there are the challenges have been there from the beginning. As you said, I did work in the very beginning on the BBC's breaking news platform, on the Twitter platform, are the big accounts that we launched. And of course, that was an exciting time. We're talking back to 2010. The relationship is very different now. We know about the arguments going on between the big tech companies in Australia with the government there that is trying to rein them in. We know about, the difficulties that many of our members have had. We heard about TRT's issues and the fact that they're trying to move into an app, as we heard this morning, to have more control. And we've had members of ours that have had huge issues. Rai, our Italian member, has had issues where their label, their logo has been used illegally, basically, for advertising. And they've had very little response or very little help solving these issues from Facebook, Meta, and companies like it. So for me, I'm approaching it from a different perspective, I think, in that sense.
Katie, maybe you can tell us more about France TV's social media strategy, and have you seen news being downgraded in social media algorithms too?
Yeah, I think we all went through this journey. At the beginning, we were in this kind of hyper distribution strategy on social media. And I remember, well, 10 years ago, we were invited to Facebook headquarters in order to give our content to Facebook because they really needed us. They needed our quality content. And then everybody got a smartphone, and so everybody can be a media, and Facebook did not need us anymore. And they changed totally their algorithm and did not push news forward anymore. Instead of that, you have fake news circulating 6 times faster than the real news. And that made us change strategy totally. And we are now trying to transform our own platforms in order to be as engaging as social media. And we have different strategies ongoing in parallel, especially around gamification, around engagement, around storytelling. But still, there are some generations, we, as public service media, we need to engage every generation. And so the older generations are still in front of the TV set. So we still have this Web 0 ongoing. Then you have Web 1 with our own platforms, Web 2 with the social media. And we need to address all those people. And now they are also the younger ones on gaming platforms. So we have sort of different strategies ongoing and parallel, and in order to still address the whole population in France.
Thank you. Now I'll put this question across to all of you, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Some heads of news may only see the downside of social media influences. Do you think that they can serve an important role in promoting awareness about verified information? Dr. Masuta, would you like to elaborate more on that?
Yeah, I think good, reliable journalistic news media should be able to negotiate for prominence in third-party platforms. I mean, and if possible, if algorithm, could be taught to differentiate between more trustworthy news sources that appear on third-party platforms, YouTube, Facebook, or even Google. I think that should really help, but I don't think the news media could do that alone. Governments, civil society organizations internationally would have to come together to help rebuild trust into the digital ecosystem.
Emilio.
First, I just wanted to also add from my previous comments, I think obviously we need to engage. We need to be there in that landscape, in that area. You can't ignore it. Most of us are there all day anyway, whether we like to admit it or not, with these things. So, we have to find a way to work through it. I'm not saying that the tech companies are completely, unreceptive. But if you look at, for example, what happened on Saturday evening in the US when that gunman fired at former President Trump. Elon Musk came out shortly after on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he said citizen journalism had been spectacular now, and celebrating how well the citizen journalists, in his view, had performed. But if you actually scrolled through what people had said on Twitter, it didn't feel like citizen journalists necessarily did so well, because citizen journalists, if we want to call them that, were just people on Twitter expressing opinions, and very, very, very strong ones on either side of what happened to Donald Trump. Therefore, and yet at the same time, we need those citizen journalists when they're out filming at the scene of that incident. We need to engage with them to get some of that footage and share that footage with our members. So I think we go back to the idea that, especially X, where they got rid of the verification system that used to give you, as a journalist, knowledge that the person with the blue tick was somebody that you could actually count on. Now, if you have the money, you can open, there's even, one of the earliest ones was @Jesus, you know, if you could become Jesus effectively. For the right price. So I think we're in it's become more increasingly challenging, but there is a need to continue the dialogue.
Thank you, Carl.
Yep. I think I would like to support Dr. Pirong as well, that news agencies and also journalism need to collaborating each other and support each other. And that would drive what we call algorithm to understand that as well. Because they say if, for example, like you guys already know about SEO, about how you get your link getting searched at the top of Google, right? So there are algorithm of it about how you can get that page up in search. So there are some kind of work, some kind of framework as well. And that framework has to be dynamic, updated all the time. Social media works probably on the same concept. So if you link up together and support each other, so the trustworthy guys support another trustworthy guys, when you support another new guy, this guy is going to gain trust, because everything the social media sees is the data linkage. So if you provide the link to be strong enough, they will see like, okay, because I mean, all social media knows what BBC is, how trustworthy BBC is, how trustworthy is France TV and also other news company. But when you link each other, the connection of the news will be stronger. And add to Emilio as well, right now there are not just US dollars news platform or social media platform. Like right now there's Chinese social media platform called TikTok. Yes. Yep. Sadly, they speak the same way. Yuan first, talking in Yuan Mingpi first. So, but they come in different algorithms as well, because if you're on Facebook, you need to be friend, and then you see your friends post. Otherwise, you're getting bombarded by ads. TikTok come with different belief. You don't need to know who is posting what. Yep. You just need to know like repeated content, something like that. And algorithm is changing all the time as well, related, not unregulated, because nobody can regulate it, that algorithm as well. And then, yep, we all need to learn and dance. It's going to be a difficult dance, because you need to dance like 24/7. Yep. The American way, the Chinese way.
You need two to dance.
Yep. And we don't know what is going to be next in the next 2 years. Is there any other dances in other concept? But right now, we all need to dance.
It's just, in order to be two to dance, I think if you cannot dance with the GAFAM, we can still dance with the influencers, and that's what we are doing in France TV. I think it's all about media literacy, and it's also media literacy. We need to make journalists understand how it works on social media, how you can be more engaging, more influence. And you mentioned Media, our trend blog, and we did our last trend book was all about the role journalists versus influencers, and we mentioned the latest digital news report, which told us that younger generations follow influencers and know more our brands. So what we are doing at France TV, we bring the influencers inside France TV and working with the newsrooms and with our departments in order to create engaging content and to understand. And there's also a very interesting project I've seen lately from the UNESCO. They also are bringing journalists and influencers around the table in order to help influencers to be more trustful and to have more journalistic reflections, and in order to help journalists to be more engaging and go from this very vertical relationship we had today and we have still today to a more horizontal relationship in order to understand what audiences need. And I really like this idea of journalists being more marketers.
Dr. Ramasuta, what are some of the challenges you think our journalistic media in coupling with social media?
Okay, need the help of the slides. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, they're pursuing news journalistic media, are pursuing a certain ideal, whereas here. Well, I think when we talk about journalism, that's probably the concept of 20th century. Of course, and social media is the 21st century, and clearly, you know, they are pursuing totally different ideals. Journalism was born in the century where, you know, there is such a thing as universal truth. You know, there is one set of truth, and that's shall emancipate mankind, whatever. But in the 21st century, nobody cares about the truth. There could be different sets of the truth. And it matters more how stories are being told and how you could engage as many audiences as possible. As Kun Glass was saying, you know, everything is being downgraded. And it's like we're fighting a losing battle, you know, putting news on social media. It's already a losing battle because the economics of platform, the economics of the platform that dictates content production is just to spread engagement in whatever form as much as possible. And nobody really cares about, you know, the ideal, like, you know, you have to be independent from the people you cover. What social media is concerned about is how to control the behavior, how to predict, you know, who the platform could reach or the clients that the platform are serving could reach. So like I said, you know, we have to sort of subvert it in a way. How, if we're dealing with AIs, we're dealing with machine learning, then we have to teach them to label trustworthy news sources, and then redirect that. You know, redirect them. Like, for example, like in Thailand, if we think that Thai PBS is a trustworthy of news and information, then Thai PBS should have a bargaining power, you know, but by itself it probably couldn't. But with the backup of, you know, other sectors in society through some civic collaboration, they could have a prominence on certain social media platform or app, you know, as opposed to others. And then, you know, like what we're doing at the NBTC, we are developing this, we call it the social credit system. So social credit system will collect information on different sources of information, usually from our licensees. And then we use AI as well as human subjects to do content analysis, and then we rank them according to the credit, social credit, that is, and there will be different categories of information, news, drama series, and whatnot. And then the ones that get more social credit, would likely get a certification from, if this project goes through, it will get a certification as quality content accreditation, that kind of thing, from the NBTC. And if we are already in talk with manufacturers of TV, in the future, we are thinking of introducing this digital platform, national digital platform. So only those who get this certification will be figure on the manufacturer app in the future, because we're thinking that in the future we can't deny it, everything will probably migrate online. So once that migrate online, once TV will become available primarily on broadband, then the manufacturer of TV will, who serve Thailand, will have to also take heed of this accreditation system that we are introducing.
I was just going to say briefly that I think there are lots of, in that slide, there are lots of details that we were hearing earlier about the need to know your audience and the need to hear from the audience and step out of ivory towers of editors gathering. And I think what you've displayed there is really the positive side of it. We on this side, on the journalism side, need to learn more about that, how to connect with audiences, how to really make the stories engaging. That's so critical. So, it's not all gloom and doom. I'm getting more and more hopeful as we go along. I feel like I started in a kind of like very negative tone. And, the more I think about it, there is, with the right ability to figure out a way forward, there's a great deal for us to learn. Most of us here being from public service media, there's a great deal for us to learn from the way they operate on that side.
Maybe finally, if I could just ask you on your advice to media outlets out there and how we can keep up with social media trends and the evolving way of social media.
Well, I guess we don't give up. We don't say, oh, they're so big, we don't know what to do to deal with them. We've had these encounters in meetings with some of the big tech companies where you do approach it like, as big as we may be, a European Union of broadcasters, we become quite small all of a sudden in their room. So, approach it in a way that you do have something to bring to the table. And then you're able to actually negotiate. Don't undervalue. I think in public media in general, we come from a kind of idea of let's not oversay things, let's not oversell ourselves. Let's be kind of, let our story or our news tell its own story. I think we need to learn from them about, believing that what we have to offer them as well is valuable.
Katie, would you like to add on to this?
The advantage of digital is also that we can learn more about how the audience is working, how they are engaging. We know them a little bit better, and so that can help us to create this relevance we are all looking for. We are now calling it resonance at France TV, but we are all looking for this in order to understand what the audience is looking for, and we really need to adapt to this.
So I think from my view, I think if we can separate news into two things, the first thing is information. Information is universal, truth is universal. Content is related to the audience. Yep. I can give you some example about myself a little bit. Today, I have a difficulties to explain about why I cannot take my 7-year-old daughter to Laos because of their economic crisis. Is there any news for children to explain economic crisis in Laos? No news. The truth is there. So I spent like hours trying to explain her about regarding like GDP, gold reserve, and blah, blah, blah thing, because we just canceled the trip to Laos because of the economic crisis, something like that. And then kids, they don't know, but they can access to YouTube. They can access to, even though in a limited time. And then I encourage them to do a research about what happened in Laos. And then they said, Dad, I'm totally like blank. I don't know what they say in the news. The truth is there. But if you guys can do something like this and divert your information into the content that's specific to audience, that will help a lot. And social media will 1,000 times emphasize or amplify that kind of content spread out the world. So that's maybe one thing that we can do. And then data is driven. But anyway, so it's, you guys, the world still needs journalists to create information, which is the fact, which is the truth, and also universal. But how to make content can incorporate with social media and gain more audience, and that's the challenge that I think we can put on the table.
Thank you very much, panelists. Unfortunately, time has caught up with us, but I thank you for sharing your insights on the dynamics of the intersection of social media technology. With that being said, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella, and all panelists. So let's take a group photo together. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite the other essayists of the Future of News report to join us here on the stage for a group photo. And everyone, it's now time that we are looking forward to. We are going to have a lunch break. Please join us at Patumat restaurant on the first floor. And the afternoon session will begin at 1:30, and Claire Pachimanon will take over the stage throughout the afternoon sessions. I hope you enjoy and thank you for your participation.